Chapter 5472. At this moment, there was no one in the Imperial God Garden. It was covered by a sea of blood and sword. But suddenly, they realized that the Imperial God Garden was slowly disappearing. Damn, what was going on? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were also sent flying by a force. They spat out mouthfuls of blood. Long Mu was also at a loss. What kind of power was this? What was in front of him? What did Lin Wuti use? He roared crazily. However, it couldn't change anything. In the sea of blood, the blood-colored dragon was also swallowed by Lin Xian's Sword World. The Sword World directly swallowed the Imperial God Garden. Ancient medicines that filled the sky danced between heaven and earth the moment they entered the Sword World. The moment they entered the Four-Spirit Valley, they felt it. They exclaimed, "So many spiritual medicines, quick, give them to us." Whitey also flew over with a swoosh. She waved her little claws and brought all the ancient herbs to the Four-Spirit Valley. At this moment, the Four-Spirit Valley became extremely mysterious. It was like a divine land. The blood-colored dragon also entered. He roared crazily. "Damn, what is this place?" Lin Xian scoffed coldly. "This is where you will die." "You want me to die?" Laughable. "I am formed from anger. If my anger isn't extinguished, I won't die." "Won't die?" Lin Xian laughed. "You are too naive, and you think too highly of yourself. Outside, you might have anger and continue to provide power. In this world, your anger can't be transmitted. You only have this bit of energy, so it's easy for me to kill you." With that, Lin Xian swung his sword and slashed at the Crimson Dragon. The blood-colored dragon resisted, and the battle between the two shook the heavens and earth. Not long later, many sword marks appeared on the blood-colored dragon's body. He roared crazily because he felt that there was no external anger that was provided to him. His own anger was quickly depleting. "Damn it!" He roared and waved his dragon claws. He wanted to tear apart the 9 heavens and escape from this place. However, the sky was terrifyingly quiet. Her peerless power couldn't cause any movement here. He didn't believe it and tried a few more times. Roaring at the sky, a sea of blood filled the sky, but it was unable to break through the void. "Damn it, what's going on? What is this place?" He turned around and glared at Lin Xian. "Where did you take me?" he roared coldly. "Stupid thing, you're just condensed from anger, yet you still dare to roar at me. Do you really think I can't deal with you? Today, I'll let you see what I can do. Anger, right? Watch me purify you." Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and a flame danced between his eyebrows. Those were the runes of the divine flame. In the next moment, Lin Xian roared angrily, and the flame between his eyebrows flew out. A wisp of flame, only the size of a finger, floated in the sky and floated towards the blood-red dragon. The giant dragon was like an ancient immemorial mountain. Comparing the two of them was like comparing a giant dragon to an ant. The Crimson Dragon laughed heartily. "Stupid thing, do you think this little flame is a threat to me?" He didn't know the difference between life and death. He stretched out his dragon claw and slammed it forward. His expression didn't seem to care at all. However, when he came into contact with the divine flame, he screamed crazily. His dragon claw was instantly pierced through. Not only that, it quickly turned into ashes. "What's going on? What kind of flame is this?" The angry dragon roared crazily. He couldn't imagine. However, before he could react, the divine flame landed on his body. Then, with a boom, it turned into a sky-burning flame. These flames enveloped the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon was terrified. However, it was useless. In an instant, it turned into ashes. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and the divine flame between his eyebrows slowly disappeared. He was also shocked. This was the divine flame, and it was only a divine flame seed now. It was already so terrifying. Great, when it fully matures in the future, how terrifying would it be? Lin Xian clenched his fists. He still had to continue absorbing the power in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. With a wave of his hand, Lin Xian grabbed the 3 dragon scale fruits on the Four-Spirit Valley and the Dragon Spirit Tree. Then, he swallowed them and recovered his strength. In the next moment, he walked out of the Sword World. Outside, the Imperial God Garden. The sea of blood was still circling, and the sword energy was monstrous. The surrounding people were bewildered. What's going on? What's going on? At this moment, a big hand waved and split the sky in half. The sea of blood broke open, and Lin Xian walked over. Everyone looked up at the sky. They shouted in shock. Lin Wudi. He came out. He didn't die. God, what's going on? What about the Crimson Dragon? Can't even kill him? The people of the dragon race were stunned. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were even more shocked. Impossible. They roared crazily. They couldn't believe it. They were looking for the Crimson Dragon, but Lin Xian said coldly, "Stop looking. He doesn't exist anymore." What? He doesn't exist anymore? The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty couldn't believe it. Long Mu's pupils also constricted. They looked carefully, and soon, their faces darkened. Because not only did the Crimson Dragon no longer exist, but the entire Imperial God Garden also didn't exist anymore. Other than the ground, there was still the earth. The ancient spirit herbs on the ground had all disappeared. Damn it! Were they all taken away by Lin Wudi? The Wind Dragon race, the Thunder Dragon race, and the other Emperor clans also exclaimed. Many gazes looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian laughed coldly. You want to attack me? Think carefully. Do you want to continue? If you follow me now, you can still continue. If you attack me, don't blame me for becoming hostile and suppressing you. Also, have you forgotten how the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty treated you previously? While you were sealed, he stole your storage rings. Hearing this, the expressions of the people of the Emperor clans changed. All of them stared at the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty with unfriendly expressions. The Purple Mansion Lord snorted coldly. It was time to settle the grudge from before. The Fire Qilin clan, the Kuanping clan, and the Gu clan also stood out. Their expressions were cold. Attack. With a furious roar, these Emperor clans attacked. The elders of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty instantly vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Even Long Mu's blood was boiling. You're courting death. You dare to attack us? Why wouldn't you dare? The Purple Mansion Lord was the first to charge over. A great battle instantly erupted. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was extremely miserable. Long Mu roared angrily. Although he was powerful, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. Moreover, these were all experts of the Emperor clans. He could suppress an entire Emperor clan by himself. But what about the other Emperor clans? Moreover, it was very difficult for him to kill the other party because the other party had an extreme weapon protecting them. Therefore, although he was unharmed, the experts of the dragon race beside him kept vomiting blood. They were severely injured. Damn it! Long Mu waved his hand and quickly left the Imperial God Garden with his people. Humph, I'll let you off this time. If you dare to attack us again, don't blame us for being impolite. Qilin roared coldly. Chapter 54-73. The people of the 1,000 Dragon Court fled. The surrounding people snorted coldly. The other ancient families felt their scalps go numb. The people of the Divine Union sneered. How ironic. This was the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. However, the 1,000 Dragon Court was in a miserable state. Damn it. After fleeing for some distance, the people of the 1,000 Dragon Court stopped. They roared crazily. They felt aggrieved. It was really too aggrieved. When had they been treated like this? Moreover, this was their territory. However, they had no choice. They were not facing 1 or 2 great emperor families. They were facing several great emperor families. An extreme Dao weapon was not something they could resist. Unless the Dragon Emperor came back to life, no one would be able to fight against it. Long Mu clenched his teeth. He was unwilling. If he could become a great emperor, he would definitely be able to kill them. At this moment, Huanlong's voice was heard. There is still a way. Continue forward. There is a blade in front of you. It was created by the Dragon Emperor. Activate it, and you can kill those people. Hearing this, the people of the 1,000 Dragon Court were shocked. What? A weapon created by the Dragon Emperor? Could it be an extreme Dao weapon? The 1,000 Dragon Court had 2 extreme Dao weapons. They were excited. Huanlong's voice was heard. She said, no. This blade was called the God-slaying blade. It was created by the Dragon Emperor before he became a great emperor. Although it was not an extreme Dao weapon, it was still a very terrifying weapon. Moreover, she stayed by the Dragon Emperor's side all year round. Even after the Dragon Emperor became a great emperor, she did not give up. Later on, this blade was buried in the Dragon Emperor's tomb. It carried a lot of the Dragon Emperor's aura, so it was very powerful. The Imperial God Garden was destroyed and the array was damaged. I can't help you. I can only tell you this much. Huan Long's voice slowly disappeared. Lord Longmu, what should we do? The people of the Thousand Dragon Court looked at Longmu. Longmu said, of course, we have to fight back. We will awaken the God-slaying blade and kill those people. These people quickly moved forward. There was an ancient altar in front of them. There were countless chains on it that sealed a long blade. The blade was blood-red as if it was made of blood jade. When they arrived, they felt their scalps go numb. What a terrifying blood aura. This was true fury, the fury of the Dragon Emperor. They were terrified. Use our dragon blood to break the seal on the god-slaying saber and awaken it. Long Mu and the others dripped their dragon blood once more. The dragon blood on each of them turned into fist-sized drops. He flew forward. Fusing with the chains above, the chains made clanking sounds. Then, he slowly opened it. The god-slaying saber was also shaking non-stop, letting out a cry. Then, a dragon's roar pierced through the clouds, and the entire world seemed to have been split into two. Not good. Retreat quickly. Long Mu and the others quickly retreated, pushing them to the edge. He dodged the attack. The entire tomb shook violently. Near the Imperial Divine Garden, those people who were still resting and waiting felt this aura. Their expressions changed as they raised their heads and looked around. The aura came from the front. What a terrifying aura. It seemed that some kind of treasure had appeared. Great, this aura is very strong. Let's go and take a look. The people of the Z government took the lead and rushed over. The people of the Kuanpong clan and the Kirin clan also followed. The remote antiquity families couldn't wait any longer. The people of the Divine Union were also curious. What was it? They all looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. He didn't know why, but he had a bad premonition. It seemed like something was threatening him. It made his heart beat wildly. Brother Xian, what's wrong? Murong Qingqing asked. Lin Xian shook his head. Nothing. Maybe it's just an illusion. Let's go and take a look. The people of the Divine Union also set off. They were very fast. Before long, they saw a vast cave in front of them. There was an ancient altar there. It was dark red in color. A saber stood on top of it, and the chains around it had fallen to the ground. There were ancient and mysterious runes on it. Look at that saber. What a terrifying aura. A peerless divine saber. If they could get it, their combat strength would definitely increase. Why did it feel like an extreme weapon? They didn't expect such a good saber to be hidden in the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Exclamations were heard one after another. Everyone's eyes turned red. They couldn't help but take action. The Fire Qilin took the lead and flew out. At this moment, the old sword of the Purple Mansion Sect waved his broken sword and cut off the Fire Qilin's path. Kuanpengzi's wings appeared on his back, and he attacked. However, Mansion Master Z took action and stopped him. The Void family, the Golden Crow family, the people of the Twin Destiny family took action. If they could obtain such a peerless blade, the strength of their side would greatly increase. They could suppress the others. In the process of finding this treasure, it would be very advantageous. No one was willing to give up. A great battle broke out in an instant. Previously, these people had joined forces to resist the Mirage Dragon. However, they were now fighting on their own. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He stared at the blood-red saber. He didn't know why, but he felt a sense of danger. His heartbeat had been caused by this saber. The blood chi on the saber was too terrifying. It carried a monstrous anger, like the anger of a god. He didn't know where the anger came from, but it made his hair stand on end. Therefore, he didn't make a move. He also secretly warned the people around him not to make a move and to be on guard at all times in case any accidents happened. When the others saw that Lin Xian didn't make a move, they were even more delighted. They felt that this was an excellent opportunity. As a result, the battle became even more intense. However, at this moment, the blood-red saber suddenly erupted, drawing a blood-red light. It directly charged forward. In an instant, the old sword of the Purple Mansion sect was pierced through, and a bloody hole appeared on his body. He spat out blood and retreated. The blood-red saber didn't stop. After piercing through the old sword, it attacked again. The Fire Cheelant's expression changed drastically. Damn it, get lost. He struck out with his Cheelant arm, connecting heaven and earth. However, the Cheelant arm was also pierced through. The Cheelant sun's blood stained the sky. He screamed and fell from the sky. Your Highness. The eyes of the Cheelant clan's elders instantly turned red. They shouted angrily and struck out with the Cheelant divine furnace to defend. They quickly protected the Cheelant sun. If the Emperor died here, they couldn't bear it. Kuan Pengzi's pupils constricted as he used his Yin-Yang speed to dodge. He dodged. However, the two elders of the Cheelant clan were pierced through. Other than them, the Golden Crow clan, the Longevity Hall, and even the Phoenix clan were injured. In an instant, more than a dozen experts were pierced through. Everyone's scalps went numb. What kind of saber was that? It was too terrifying. Even the powerful divine ancestor and emperor's son couldn't do anything to it. Chapter 54-74. Countless people looked at this scene in horror. No one could suppress Bing Quangdao, unless they used an extreme weapon. Great, let's see how they die. In the corner, the people from the Thousand Dragon Court sneered when they saw this. At the same time, they were excited. The god-slaying blade was indeed strong. No one among the sages could match it. Not even the sacred leader could. After the god-slaying blade pierced through more than 10 elites, the light on it became even more terrifying. The blood-red light was extremely demonic. There was even sacred blood dripping from it continuously. Every time it fell, it would pierce through heaven and earth. Then, it shook, as if it was very happy. With a slash, a huge blade radiance swept across heaven and earth. No, an elder from the Wind tribe was instantly split into two, and his soul was destroyed. With another slash, the body of an elite from the Stone tribe was split open and no longer existed. In the blink of an eye, 6 sacred tribe members had fallen and blood stained the sky. The light of the god-slaying blade became even more demonic. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Everyone was terrified and retreated quickly. Although they had experienced countless dangers before, such as the First Hall, the Second Hall, the powerful Dragon Tribe, and the terrifying Mirage Dragon, they had never seen anything like this before. The blood-red blade in front of them was incomparably terrifying. The other party was cold and emotionless. It wasn't a human, it was just a weapon. Everyone retreated, no one daring to have any thoughts about the blood-red blade. The blood-red blade kept swaying. Then, as if it had sensed something, it stared in a certain direction. Then, the blade slashed down. Not good. The people from the Divine Union were so frightened that they almost fainted. The god-slaying blade was slashing towards them. The Crimson Dragon and the others exclaimed, "Damn, this is too demonic. Why is it coming towards us?" Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He knew that the god-slaying blade wasn't coming for the Divine Union, but him. He snorted and took out the heaven-devouring jar to block it. With a clang, the heaven-devouring jar used a black vortex to block the shocking blade radiance. Lin Xian's face darkened. Although he had blocked it, his blood was boiling. From this, one could imagine how terrifying that saber was. The people from the Divine Union were also forced back. Lin Xian said, "Retreat." They all retreated, and the god-slaying saber was pushed back. Then, he became even more terrifying. Another slash came. This time, he directly rushed down. It wasn't a saber light, but the body of the war god saber. He attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flashed, instantly dodging the attack. However, the god-slaying saber was relentless and continued to chase after him. The surrounding people were all stunned. What was going on? The saber was staring at Lin Wudi. Previously, although many of them had been injured and some had even died, they could tell that the god-slaying saber did not have a specific target. Whoever was close to him would be attacked. But now, it was completely different. No matter how Lin Xian dodged, the god-slaying saber followed him closely. This was completely targeted at Lin Xian. Could it be that this kid had obtained too many of the Dragon Monarch's treasures? These people had strange expressions on their faces. Zifu and the others sneered again. It seemed like this brat was going to be unlucky. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty snorted coldly. They walked out and laughed. Lin Wudi, today is the day you die. Damn it. The people from the Divine Union gritted their teeth. Lin Xian had used the heaven-devouring jar to resist the god-slaying saber. He frowned. When he heard Wan Longchao's words, he snorted coldly. Do you know why he wants to kill me? Long Mu sneered. Isn't it because you deserve to die? You killed the Dragon Prince and behaved atrociously in the Dragon Monarch's tomb. It's normal for him to kill you. Lin Xian said. Stupid thing, let me tell you. 90,000 years ago, an expert from the Lin family slapped the Dragon Monarch's face. The Dragon Monarch could have become a great emperor earlier, but because of the Lin family's expert, he became a great emperor later. That was why he was so angry. He built the Imperial God Garden and created the god-slaying saber. Do you understand now? Lin Xian's voice rang out. The surrounding people were stunned. What? 90,000 years ago, the Dragon Monarch was slapped in the face. And it was a ruthless slap in the face. That was impossible. Damn, Brad, what are you talking about? The people from the Dragon Tribe were instantly enraged. The eyes of the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were red. They were filled with killing intent. Kneel down and apologize to our Dragon Monarch. Lin Xian, on the other hand, threw his head back and laughed out loud. Apologize? I'm telling the truth. He didn't say that it was him because the power of time had always been the most mysterious. This was his super trump card. However, just a person from the Lin family was enough to shock countless people. Wasn't this Lin Xian an itinerant cultivator? Did his family already exist 90,000 years ago? He even slapped the Dragon Monarch's face. Did his family also produce a great emperor? No way. Who exactly was this Lin Xian? Countless people were shocked. The people from the Emperor family also frowned. The people from the Purple Mansion snorted coldly. What nonsense. The people from the Gu family also didn't believe that the other party had such ability. What a joke. However, after the dragon-slaying saber heard this, it shook violently. It was like an angry beast, letting out waves of dragon roars. This sound was earth-shattering, and a sea of blood spread out from its body. The killing intent was 10 times stronger than before. Why are you angry? Do you really think that you can kill gods just because you're called the god-slaying saber? Today, I'll turn you into scrap metal. Lin Xian's eyes also burst out with an extremely cold light. The surrounding people all went crazy. The change of the god-slaying saber was enough to prove that Lin Xian was not lying. What kind of terrifying existence was the Lin family that had shocked them? They actually suppressed the Dragon Monarch 90,000 years ago. No, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were even crazier. Their eyes were filled with despair. Long Mu was so angry that he vomited blood. In their eyes, the Dragon Monarch was a supreme existence. He was a godlike existence. The Dragon Monarch had never been defeated in his life. He had fought all the way and crushed all living beings to become a supreme great emperor. How could he be slapped in the face? I don't believe it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took the initiative to attack. Endless demonic energy condensed, and a demonic shadow appeared behind him. The moment he appeared, the 9 heavens and 10 lands were collapsing. Lin Xian used the illusion demon scripture to the extreme. The demonic shadow reached out a black hand and grabbed forward. At the same time, Lin Xian used the Heavens battle map and kept attacking the god-slaying saber. The two of them fought an earth-shattering battle, blocking the terrifying saber light of the god-slaying saber. The demonic hand of the illusion demon scripture grabbed the god-slaying saber. The god-slaying saber kept roaring, as if it had turned into a giant dragon that wanted to escape. However, he had underestimated this demonic shadow. This demonic shadow was related to the demon monarch and was extremely mysterious. No matter how strong the god-slaying saber was, it was not an extreme weapon. He only had the dragon monarch's aura, so he was still suppressed. Scram! Suddenly, an angry roar was heard. The endless light on the god-slaying saber condensed into an illusion. It was a man. He was tall and looked down on the world. The moment he appeared, he trampled all over. At this moment, everyone wanted to kneel down and submit. Chapter 5475. Could this phantom be the Dragon Emperor? The people of the dragon race knelt on the ground. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty were also excited. This was their ancestor. The Dragon Emperor was indeed a celestial being. The other monarch race people were also shocked. The Dragon Emperor's phantom had also appeared. It seemed that this blade's status was definitely extraordinary. It should be the blade that stayed by the Dragon Emperor's side all year round. This blade was extremely terrifying. It had the aura of an emperor. It was very difficult for Lin Wudy to completely suppress it. As expected, when the Dragon Emperor's phantom appeared, a monstrous emperor's aura swept in all directions. Everyone was shaken until their blood was boiling. The monarch race people took out extreme Dao weapons to block. Lin Xian also took out the heaven-swallowing jar. It floated above his head. An endless black vortex swallowed this emperor's aura. His face also turned pale, and his eyes stared straight ahead. It was him. He recognized this person. 90,000 years ago, Lin Xian hadn't seen him, but Lin Xian could still recognize this voice. It was Long Xiaotian. Die. After the Dragon Emperor's phantom appeared, he roared angrily. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The earth aura on his body condensed into a finger and cut towards Lin Xian. When the emperor was angry, no one could defeat him. If the sky collapsed and the earth cracked, he would definitely die. At this moment, everyone was in despair. Was Lin Wudy dead? The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty were so happy that they were about to cry. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He formed a seal with his hands. The illusion demon scripture was even more terrifying. The demonic shadow behind him also slowly rotated. Humph! It seemed to let out a cold snort. Instantly, the 9 heavens collapsed. Everyone was sent flying again. The extreme Dao weapons also shook. The extreme Dao aura on them filled the air. The surrounding people went crazy. This voice was like heavenly thunder. What exactly was this phantom? The phantom blocked the Dragon Emperor's phantom. Even Lin Xian was shocked. Previously, this demonic shadow could only come out and use some divine abilities. But now, it let out a sound, which shocked him. Would the illusion demon scripture be exchanged for a real demon in the end? The Dragon Emperor's phantom was astonished. He stared at the demonic figure with an unprecedentedly solemn expression. He could also feel that Emoing also had the aura of a great emperor. This should be the power of another great emperor. The two of them confronted each other as if 2 great emperors had been resurrected. The 2 great emperors wouldn't be in the same era. They were facing off against each other after countless years. The 2 forces continued to erupt, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were also terrified. They didn't expect Lin Xian to have such power. Could it be that he still couldn't kill him? Lin Xian also frowned. Although he had blocked the other party, he was not satisfied. His goal was to kill the other party. Thinking of this, Lin Xian formed a seal with his hands and a flame appeared between his eyebrows once more. The power of the seed of divine fire. Although the divine flame seed was still growing, Lin Xian had no choice but to use this power. With a wave of his hand, a wisp of flame flew out from his glabella. The flame of the divine flame floated forward and charged towards the Dragon Emperor. Sensing this power, the Dragon Emperor's face darkened. "Ant, you dare to attack me?" He waved his sleeve and the supreme status rushed over. However, the flame didn't disappear. Instead, it pierced through his sleeve and charged towards him. The Dragon Emperor's expression changed. In the next moment, he seemed to have thought of something, and an extremely sharp killing intent erupted from his eyes. "It's you." At this moment, the entire Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb seemed to be about to shatter. What kind of anger was this? Everyone was stunned. It was because of Lin Xian's ancestor. Had he ever fought against the Dragon Emperor? How would they know? It wasn't Lin Xian's ancestor at all. It was Lin Xian. He had crossed 90,000 years and slapped the Dragon Emperor in the face. The aura in front of them was just a phantom. It was some power condensed by the dragon-slaying saber after following the Dragon Emperor for many years. The Great Emperor was too mysterious. Lin Xian now knew more than others. His younger brother didn't belong to the mortal world. He was a power that surpassed the mortal world. He walked the divine path and the immortal path. Would such a person die so easily? Even if such a person died, he would probably have endless means. For example, the demonic shadow behind him and the current Dragon Emperor phantom. The Great Emperor's means were not what others could imagine. Therefore, although it wasn't the real Dragon Emperor, he still recognized Lin Xian in an instant. 90,000 years ago, Dragon Xiaotian participated in the Dragon Transformation Battle and won first place. Countless people thought highly of him. He even wanted to accept the Divine Flame Seed and become a member of the Divine Path. However, when he entered the Divine Path, he was hit by a force. The other party even scolded him and told him to get lost. At that time, he felt that it was the power of a ball of flame. It was extremely terrifying. Now, he finally felt the same power again. He stared fixedly at Lin Xian. Was it this brat? That incident back then had always been a great humiliation to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have built the god-slaying saber. Later on, he even had a shocking battle with the Divine Path. Lin Xian didn't know that. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. He used all his strength to activate the Divine Flame Seed and extinguish it. At the same time, the demonic shadow behind him also attacked. These two super powerful forces fought against the Dragon Emperor's phantom. The Dragon Emperor was suppressed. In the end, his phantom turned into a sea of blood and disappeared again. No, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court knelt on the ground. The others were also stunned. Was the Dragon Emperor phantom suppressed? Although it was just a phantom and not the real Dragon Emperor, it was still hard to believe. Lin Wudi also had the power of a great emperor. That demonic shadow was definitely related to the Demon Emperor. As for that ball of flame, what was it? Was it the flame of a great emperor? They didn't know. However, when the flame appeared, it made their hair stand on end. After defeating the Dragon Emperor phantom, Lin Xian attacked the god-slaying saber. The god-slaying saber shook violently and roared in anger, trying to escape. However, Lin Xian was firmly suppressing his opponent. At this moment, the dragon's sword soul rushed out and directly struck the god-slaying saber. It turned into a dragon shadow and coiled around the other party. Then, the dragon head roared and began to absorb the power of the god-slaying saber. Damn it, how dare you! The people of the Thousand Dragon Court were furious. Long Mu held an extreme weapon and instantly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted and blocked with the Heaven-Devouring Jar. However, the Heaven-Devouring Jar was half an extreme weapon after all. He was actually forced back. His expression changed. Murong Qingqing and the others wanted to attack, but they were a step too late. The 10,000 Dragons diagram charged over and enveloped the Dragon Sword Soul. The Dragon Sword Soul roared at the sky. It waved its dragon claws, and an invincible power erupted. Cracks appeared on Long Mu's body, and he retreated. The 10,000 Dragons diagram also flew into the distance. Everyone was shocked. Even Lin Xian was surprised. The Dragon Sword Soul was becoming more and more extraordinary. Now, it could already contend against an extreme weapon. The others were even more shocked. The Dragon Sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. It was incomparably mysterious. They didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Chapter 5476. Even the people of the Emperor race didn't understand what grade of weapon the 5 swords of the world were. In fact, the Great Emperor only left behind a few words, saying that he couldn't see through it. This shocked everyone. They guessed that it should be at the level of an extreme Dao weapon. However, it was different from an extreme Dao weapon, because the inheritors of the 5 swords of the world could all grow from being weak. And extreme Dao weapons were all extreme Dao power, eternal existences. Just as everyone was in a daze, a cracking sound suddenly sounded in front of them. It was as if everyone's hearts had split into two. What's going on? They looked up and gasped in the next moment. The people of the dragon race were also stunned. The god-slaying saber was dim and cracks appeared in some places. Boom. This process didn't last long. With a final boom, the god-slaying saber shattered into pieces and fell to the ground, completely turning into scrap metal. Looking at this scene, everyone went crazy. This was the saber of the great emperor. It was second only to an extreme Dao weapon, and it even had the Dragon Emperor's wrath. How terrifying. But now, it had actually become scrap metal. Lin Xian's words had really become reality. The great dragon sword soul roared in the air. It became more and more corporeal, as if it had transformed into a real divine dragon. It was very terrifying. After circling for a while, it turned into a sword shadow and flew back into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian felt that the invincible power he controlled had become stronger again. At the same time, he had a feeling. Although the great dragon sword soul didn't say anything, Lin Xian felt that the great dragon sword soul was desperate for power now. It seemed that after obtaining a kind of power, the great dragon sword soul would undergo some unexpected changes. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He clenched his fists and continued to set off. Whether it was for the great dragon sword soul or the divine fire seed, he had to continue. Its body slowly descended and landed on the ground. It looked in all directions. At this moment, everyone was shocked. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their hearts. The young man in front of them had already grown to a point where they couldn't understand him. They even felt that he was incomparably mysterious. It seemed that they could only look up to him in the future. The land of the Kuan Pong and the Fire Qilin gritted their teeth. They were unwilling to accept this, because this felt like they were facing a great emperor. Were they inferior? Despite possessing the strongest bloodline, they were still no match for the other party. Lin Xian walked forward and arrived at the ancient altar. A hand pressed down on the altar and spun it forcefully. Kacha! The altar rotated and a wall behind it slowly opened up, forming a passageway. He took the lead and walked in, followed by the people from the Divine Union. Let's go as well. The Z Mansion and Gu family's people were feeling a bit down. They were really shocked by Lin Xian, especially the people from the Z Mansion. They were gnashing their teeth. The leader of the Z government clenched his fists. Lin Wudi, I won't let you off. The old sword maestro said in a low voice as he clutched his wound. The Triple Crown King should be waking up soon. I'm afraid we can't beat Lin Wudi now. Only the Triple Crown can suppress him, or even kill him. The Purple Mansion Lord nodded. Before we came here, we gave the order to revive the Triple Crown King. It should be about time now. After getting out of here, the Triple Crown Champion should be able to recover completely. At that time, he would not give Lin Wudi a chance to kill him. When the people from the surrounding families heard this, they gasped. Was the Triple Crown King about to recover? One had to know that Lin Xian and the others were only double crown kings now, yet they were already so terrifying. How terrifying was the Triple Crown King? This was an extremely rare existence in the past. Who was stronger, Lin Xian or the Triple Crown King? These people were looking forward to it. However, they also knew that if they wanted to fight, they would have to leave the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. How dangerous was this place? Whether or not they could leave safely was still an unknown. Lin Xian and the others led the way. After walking for about a day, they stopped. The people behind them were also puzzled. Had they arrived? They did not know what kind of existence the Protector would be this time. Needless to say, it would definitely be more terrifying than the Dragon Blade. Lin Xian stopped. His brows were tightly knitted together, and he was even a little surprised. The surrounding people from the Divine Union were dumbfounded. The scene in front of them was really unbelievable. There was a figure standing in front of them. He was indomitable, as if he was a god standing there. He was holding a long spear in his hand. He was mighty and extraordinary, just like a mighty god. Everyone seemed insignificant under his feet. There were a total of 7 people like him. However, everyone felt very strange. To be exact, they only saw one. It was the one holding the long spear. The other 6 had disappeared. However, everyone was sure that the other 6 had definitely existed. This was because there were 6 black holes beside this giant. They did not know what had pierced through them. They were directly connected to the depths. Through the black hole, Lin Xian could see that there was an ancient coffin floating within it. The information on the ancient coffin was really terrifying. It seemed to be able to suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Could that be the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin? No way. They had found the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin just like that. Yin Ruyu and the others were also shocked. It was much faster than they had imagined. When the people who had rushed over saw this scene, they were also shocked. Had the Dragon Emperor's coffin appeared? The Emperor race people were shocked too. However, they frowned. That was not right. It couldn't have been so fast. Normally, there was still a long way to go, but now, 6 tunnels had been opened up. Who did it? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty went crazy. Who would dare to attack in the Dragonflower Ancient Tomb? They stared around and then at Lin Xian. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. Trash? Couldn't they tell that this was done countless years ago? Long Mu gritted his teeth. Naturally, he knew. Countless years ago, who came to the Dragon Emperor's tomb and even pierced through this place. Where did the other 6 giants go? This was all a mystery. No one knew. Even the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty didn't know. This was because there had never been any records of this. At this moment, the experts of the rock race exclaimed. Could it be that these 7 giants were the legendary 7 dragon generals? 7 dragon generals? Everyone was shocked. The people of the Gu clan also gasped. Elder Gu said, it was said that there were 7 experts under the Dragon Emperor who were his followers. They grew along with him. In the end, the Dragon Emperor became an emperor while these 7 followers became quasi-emperors. They were very terrifying. They swept through everything. They were the Dragon Emperor's most capable assistants. When they heard this, the people from the clan of the Ancients and the Divine Union were stunned. 7 dragon generals, 7 quasi-emperors. Was this the work of an emperor? He was too strong. His subordinates were all quasi-emperors. These people looked at the only giant in front of them and sighed. A quasi-emperor was standing in front of them. However, they were puzzled. Where did the other 6 quasi-emperors go? Who took them away? Moreover, they were able to pierce through the Dragonflower Ancient Tomb. The other party's target was the Dragon Emperor. Chapter 5477. The scene in front of them shocked them. However, they were also excited. Although the 6 dragon generals had disappeared, the spirit formation passage had been opened. They could now see the Dragon Phoenix's ancient coffin. This meant that they could also reach it directly. To be honest, they had never thought that they would see the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. After all, this was the Great Earth Emperor's ancient coffin. Buried inside was a great emperor. He was an existence that could sweep through the universe. They didn't dare to face him directly. In fact, even Lin Xian was surprised. He had come to find the treasure this time, but he didn't plan to go all the way. He didn't want to offend a great emperor. However, the situation now was beyond his expectations. Perhaps he could really open the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin to take a look. Thinking of this, he narrowed his eyes. He wasn't in a hurry to act. Instead, he looked at the Emperor race. The Emperor race knew more about great emperors than them. A few of them were discussing. Their eyes were shining. In the end, they decided to go and take a look. After all, this was a rare opportunity. Even if there was danger, they had extreme weapons and could leave safely. Damn it! How dare you disrespect the Dragon Emperor? Hearing these people's plan, the people from the 1,000 Dragon Court gritted their teeth. They were filled with killing intent. The Gu family elder laughed. Don't be agitated. It's not disrespect. We just want to take a closer look at the Dragon Emperor. That's right. The people from the Purple Mansion also laughed. Friends from the 1,000 Dragon Court, I advise you not to stop them. Otherwise, there will be an extreme battle here. I'm afraid the Dragon Emperor will be affected. Damn it! How dare you threaten us? Long Mu and the others gritted their teeth. They didn't believe that these people had the strength to open the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. However, they felt uncomfortable if they got close. After all, everyone below the Great Emperor was an ant. Now that a group of ants wanted to challenge the Great Earth Emperor, how could they tolerate it? However, the Gu family and the Purple Mansion didn't care about the 1,000 Dragon Court's thoughts. They joined forces and walked towards the passage. These people were excited and ecstatic. When the people from the Divine Union saw this, they also took a deep breath. Let's go too. The Crimson Dragon waved its dragon claws. They couldn't fall behind. At the moment when everyone was preparing to enter the tunnel that had been opened, the seventh giant that had been standing beside them the entire time suddenly moved. Endless rumbling sounds came from his body. It was as if he had come back to life. Boom! A huge foot stepped out and landed in front of the 6 tunnels, pressing down. It was like an ancient mountain. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. Damn it! They quickly retreated and dodged the attack. The entire ancient tomb shook violently. Morning mist filled the air, and cracks spread all over. Everyone's expression turned ugly. Was he alive? The 7th Dino General had actually revived and stopped them. No one can stop us. The people of the Gu family roared and used their Void Divine ability to quickly rush forward. The Fire Qilin and the Kuan Pong race also attacked at the same time. However, with a sweep of the long spear, these people were all sent flying. The Monarch clan expert spat out large mouthfuls of blood, his face full of fear. The experts of the Golden Crow tribe also roared. A quasi-emperor. This is a quasi-emperor. The others also felt their scalps go numb. That's right. The 7 great dragon generals were all boundary emperors. 6 of them had disappeared, but they would not be able to stop the remaining one. Impossible. Kuan Pongzi was shocked. Even the great emperors couldn't survive. How could a boundary emperor like him still be alive? The people of the Gu family also said, could it be that he was also a puppet? The moment these words were said, everyone was terrified. Even a boundary emperor had become a puppet? Was this the method of a great emperor? It was too heaven-defying. I, the 7th dragon general under the Dragon Emperor, guard the Dragon Emperor tomb. No one is allowed to enter. Otherwise, I will kill without mercy. A loud and clear voice sounded. At this moment, everyone's expression became ugly. The people of the 1,000 Dragon Court clapped their hands and laughed. That's great. Lord Dragon General, please kill these people. These people dared to challenge the Dragon Emperor. They will definitely die. Dragon General, why don't you kill them and use their blood to illuminate the dragon race? These people raised their arms and shouted. The others were as if they were facing a great enemy. Damn it, what should they do? If not for these 6 tunnels, they might have been in despair. They wouldn't have gone. But now, they had already seen the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin. How could they be willing to give up? However, facing a boundary emperor, they really had no choice. Even if they used extreme weapons, they probably wouldn't be able to defeat him. After all, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also had several sets of weapons, and a quasi-emperor used an extreme weapon. If a boundary emperor used extreme weapons, even if they were inferior in numbers, their power would still be far superior. Furthermore, the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin was in the distance. If the extreme weapons overturned the ancient coffin and the Dragon Emperor's corpse appeared, no one would be able to withstand it. Some people said, look ahead. Apart from the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin, there are no other treasures. Why don't we go back? Yes, there is no point in risking our lives here. Let's go back and take a look at the previous big shops. There might be some treasures left behind. These people wanted to leave. Lin Xin's brows were tightly knitted together. He wanted to leave. Truth be told, he didn't want these people to leave. The Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb was too dangerous. He had to bring these Emperor race people with him. Because of the danger, if several Emperor weapons were to erupt at the same time, they would be able to resist. If these people left, the Divine Union's strength wouldn't be able to resist. Therefore, he said, leave? What a pity. The Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin is right in front. Think about it, even if the Dragon Emperor didn't leave anything else behind, the Dragon Emperor's ancient scripture would definitely be there. Don't you want the inheritance of a great emperor? The moment these words were spoken, those people stopped in their tracks and their eyes turned red. How could they not want the inheritance of a great emperor? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court sneered. The inheritance of a great emperor is good, but do you have the life to enjoy it? That belongs to the dragon race. You don't have the right. Who says you don't have the right? Do you have the right to fight? Lin Xian stepped forward. He said, Let's work together and suppress this 7th Dragon General. Then, we can go. At that time, we will have a great chance of obtaining the Dragon Emperor Ancient Scripture. Everyone, could it be that you really don't want it? If you work together with us, we can share the Dragon Emperor Ancient Scripture. The people from the Emperor race were also tempted. If their great Emperor race clans obtained another ancient scripture, their strength would increase exponentially. It would reach an unbelievable level. However, Kuan Pengzi frowned. It is a quasi-emperor. We can't defeat it at all. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court snorted coldly. They had already taken out the 10,000 Dragon diagram. At the crucial moment, they would give the 10,000 Dragon diagram to the 7th Dragon General and let him sweep through the land. However, Lin Xian said, "We can't defeat a quasi-emperor. What if he isn't a quasi-emperor? What if he is a quasi-emperor like us?" The moment these words came out, the others were stunned. Same realm? How could that be? His cultivation was real. Who could change it? Chapter 5478. You guys can't do it, but I can. Lin Xian's voice rang out, causing an uproar among the Emperor race people. What was going on? Lin Wudi, don't talk nonsense. Fire Qilin gritted his teeth and the others frowned. You have a way? Mansion Master Z snorted coldly. Lin Xian said, I have a way. We all have extreme weapons in our hands. One extreme weapon might not be enough. However, with so many weapons together, we can definitely build an extreme realm. Then, we can suppress the power of laws inside and suppress his cultivation to the great sage level. This way, he wouldn't be undefeatable. As soon as these words were said, the hearts of the other Emperor race people jumped wildly. Would they also build an extreme realm? To be honest, it was a bold idea. They had seen an extreme realm before, and it was built with extreme weapons. Of course, they knew that it was definitely the work of an emperor back then. None of them were emperors now. They were all sacred lords. However, they had extreme weapons in their hands. If it was just temporarily building a spatial domain, it was still fine. Kuan Pengzi nodded. Let's do it. I agree too. The Gu family also stood out. Next, all the Emperor race people agreed. This was a good opportunity. Buzz. An extreme weapon flew out. Lin Xian sighed, and the Divine Union's people sent out the Desolate Tower together. Lin Xian had 3 extreme weapons, but he didn't use all of them. He wanted to preserve his strength. This was also the reason why he joined forces with these Emperor race people. With the strength that the Divine Union had, they definitely wouldn't be able to reach the end. They needed the help of these Emperor race people. Between heaven and earth, extreme aura filled the air, forming an extreme realm that descended. It enveloped the sub-emperor. The 7th Dragon General roared as the spear in his hand danced. It was enough to pierce the sky. However, this was an extreme weapon after all. It was too powerful, and he was gradually being suppressed. Damn it! The dragon race people's expressions turned ugly. Long Mu roared angrily. How dare you? Hurry up and activate your extreme weapons. They unleashed their extreme weapons with all their might to block the attack. However, there were too many extreme weapons in the sky, and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty couldn't do anything. Lord Dragon General, please receive the extreme weapons. These people quickly used the 10,000 Dragon picture to block. Long Jiang raised his head and roared. He pointed his spear and caught the 10,000 Dragons picture. Then, the 10,000 Dragon spike exploded with boundless power, fighting against the space in the sky. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. Lin Xian shouted angrily. Next, they began to suppress each other. Sure enough, the 7th Dragon General was gradually being suppressed under the combined efforts of everyone. The laws on his body were suppressed, and his aura dropped. However, he was still a quasi-emperor. This made everyone despair. What to do? Even an apex weapon couldn't completely suppress him? From the looks of it, we can trap them, but we can't leave. These people were anxious. What Lin Wudi imagined did not happen. On the other hand, Lin Xian's expression was calm. He naturally knew that the power of an extreme-grade weapon alone might not be enough to completely suppress the Dragon King. After all, the other party was a Dragon General, a quasi-emperor. This was also an important place for the Dragon Clan. However, he still had one more treasure that he had not used, and that was the sword world. Lin Xian would not completely open the sword world and display it in front of these people. However, he would release the aura of the sword world, causing the power of the sword world to surge into the extreme Dao space. This way, it was equivalent to him making a world projection. He believed that with the mysterious power of the sword world, he could definitely suppress the other party and make them fall below the quasi-emperor level. Following that, a black vortex appeared on Lin Xian's body, covering everything. No one saw him activate the sword world, so they all thought that Lin Xian had used the heaven-swallowing jar again. The power of the sword world surged out and poured into the extreme Dao space in front of him. The extreme Dao space shook for a moment and then became incomparably mysterious. The illusion of a dreamy world seemed to appear, and Lin Xian directly rushed in. It stood there, facing the tall and godlike 7th Dragon General. He was still not afraid. "Suppress me." His angry roar was like a clap of thunder. "Useless Lin Wudi, a quasi-emperor is not someone you can challenge." Long Mu snorted coldly. The 7th Dragon General roared crazily. However, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm. "Right? But here, I am the ruler of heaven and earth. Listen to my orders, suppress." The laws on the 7th Dragon General's body were gradually suppressed, and he fell below the quasi-emperor level. Sensing this scene, everyone was overjoyed. He did it. Lin Wudi really did it. The people of the 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court went crazy. Impossible. This was absolutely impossible. Long Mu also shook his head crazily. How could the quasi-emperor realm fall? Even if it was suppressed by an extreme Dao weapon, it was still impossible. How did this kid do it? As expected of the power of the sword world, just a world projection was already so terrifying. Lin Xian also knew that this was all thanks to the Emperor race's extreme Dao weapons. Otherwise, even if he placed this quasi-emperor into the sword world, it would be very difficult to completely defeat him. A true quasi-emperor was too strong. Lin Xian had a quasi-emperor corpse, so he knew how terrifying a quasi-emperor's power was. That was an existence that had condensed an immortal chi seed or a divine fire seed. But now, Lin Xian had the confidence to fight against the other party. In a battle of the same level, he had never been afraid of anyone. However, Lin Xian was now a Saint Lord, and this Dragon General was only suppressed to the Sacred Ancestor realm. No one could suppress it anymore. No, Lin Wudi couldn't suppress it to the Saint Lord realm. "We don't have much strength. We still have to leave some to protect ourselves," Kuan Pengzi shouted. Lin Xian nodded. Although the Sacred Ancestor was a realm higher than him, he could still contend against him. He said that it was enough. "You guys maintain this space. I will defeat him." A cold light burst out from his eyes. A quasi-emperor whose realm was suppressed was also the 7th Dragon General, the Dragon Emperor's most capable assistant. He also wanted to see how terrifying such a person was. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fight with such a person. Lin Xian didn't want to miss it. Was Lin Wudi going to make a move? Countless people exclaimed. But thinking about it, Lin Wudi's battle strength was too strong. The Thunder Dragon of the first hall and the Heavenly Battle Dragon of the second hall. The Mirage Dragon and the God-slaying Saber were both broken by him. Therefore, facing the 7th Dragon General now, he would probably have to make a move. Everyone watched the battle nervously. The 7th Dragon General lowered his head, looked at Lin Xian, and said coldly, "Aunt, do you think that you can contend against me just because you've suppressed my laws? Naive. Today, I will let you know. I have the power of the dragon race." As he spoke, his body slowly shrank, and he turned into a normal person. In the next moment, a spear pierced over. It lit up the world, turning into an eternal light. Everyone was shocked. Even if the 7th Dragon General was suppressed, the power he displayed was far beyond theirs. It was not something a sacred ancestor could resist. Chapter 5479. The 7th Dragon General was enraged. As the Dragon Emperor's subordinate, he only admired the Dragon Emperor and treated everyone else like ants. Now, a mere great sage dared to challenge him? He couldn't take it. The spear pierced over, turning into a ray of light that made countless people feel despair. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He had to admit that the seventh dragon general was too strong. Although his cultivation was suppressed, he was still invincible. Demonic aura surged from his body as he took out the great destruction spear and threw it out. The black spear seemed to have turned into black lightning with monstrous power. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. Immediately, cracks appeared in the extreme path space, shocking everyone. This was a space condensed by the aura of the extreme Tao. If a crack could appear, one could imagine how terrifying the power of the two was. After one blow, the two were evenly matched and faced each other again. The people of the Divine Union cheered. Great! Boss Lin was invincible. The seventh dragon general was no match for Boss Lin if he wasn't a boundary emperor. Let's see how our Boss Lin will torture him. These people cheered excitedly. On the other side, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court gritted their teeth. Could Lin Wuti block it? That was impossible. Long Mu said, "Don't worry, the strength of the seventh dragon general was beyond his imagination. Just wait, Lin Wuti would regret it." He knew that a boundary emperor was an existence that surpassed the sage realm and had a power that sages didn't have. That power was what he had been pursuing, but he could only feel it. But he couldn't condense it. The seventh dragon general had definitely condensed it. Although the laws were suppressed, the power was still there. How could Lin Wuti block it? Therefore, he was extremely confident. This was just the beginning. In front, the two stopped after one blow and attacked again. The dragon spear of the seventh dragon general struck out continuously, forming a series of spear gleams that connected together like countless waves. It covered the sky and covered the earth. Every blow could easily kill a divine ancestor. Lin Xian roared as the great destruction spear danced. He used the demon emperor mystique, demon godlight. The sky was filled with black light that pierced through the 9 heavens. At the same time, he used the demon god seal and demon god finger. Demon overture. All kinds of monarch skills emerged one after another. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Fortunately, there was a space constructed by an extreme weapon. Otherwise, the surrounding people would have long been torn to pieces by this power. Amidst the boundless light, Lin Xian suddenly roared. The heavenly Tao of Samsara. After using Rinnegan last time, Lin Xian has already closed his Rinnegan. With the rapid recovery, he gained a lot of power, so the Rinnegan was restored again. It could be activated now. A giant hand appeared in the sky and pressed down from the sky. It was like the hand of a god, and it slammed down on the head of the seventh dragon general. The seventh dragon general's soul shook. In the next moment, he roared at the sky. Scram! The dragon roared and turned into a beam of light that shot into the sky. It collided with the hand of the heavens. The battle between the two was extremely shocking. After blocking Lin Xian's soul attack, the seventh dragon general's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Dragon in the sky. Suddenly, a spear thrust out. It was as if it had turned into a flying dragon, soaring between the heaven and earth. This spear was too terrifying. It could be said to be a fatal blow. The moment Long Mu caught sight of this, he broke out into a smile. That kid would definitely not be able to block this attack. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This spear had pierced through his demonic energy. It attacked him. It hit his body, and there was a deafening sound. He was forced back. His blood was in turmoil, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. There were cracks spreading on his body. Lin Wuti was injured. The people of the Kuanping race exclaimed. The others gasped. They knew how strong Lin Wuti was, but now he was injured. Was this a quasi-emperor? Even if he was suppressed, he was undefeatable. Humph, Aunt, you are not my match. Even if my cultivation is suppressed, you are not a match for me. Kneel down and accept your death. The dragon general stood in the sky like a god. Lin Xian frowned. He looked at his injured body. He also took a deep breath. What a terrifying spear technique. As expected of a quasi-emperor, he was far stronger than the other double champions. His divine body shook, and his powerful physique quickly healed his injuries. In the next moment, the flames on his body soared into the sky as if he had turned into a sun god. Powerful. I have to say, A quasi-emperor is indeed beyond my imagination. But do you think that this attack can defeat me? You are too naive. I don't know if you are a human or a puppet now, but you have been asleep for too long. Don't you understand how the world has changed? The world now belongs to us young people. You are old. Let me tell you what the strongest prodigy of this era is like. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light. He put away the great destruction and took out the hell sword. The sword chi on his body was monstrous. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a peerless sword god, unparalleled. What a terrifying sword chi. Feeling this power, everyone was shocked. Lin Wudi's power was even more terrifying than before. It seemed that he was also angry. The sword maestro also sucked in a cold breath. He was an expert of the sword Dao, and his sword technique was unparalleled. But now, in front of Lin Xian, he actually felt a sense of defeat. This young junior's sword Dao aura had already surpassed his. It even made him feel terrified. The sword Dao, great emperor of the past, was just like this when he was young. She sighed. How did the Purple Mansion provoke such an enemy? She was worried for the Purple Mansion. The Purple Mansion Lord's expression was also ugly. He snorted coldly. Just wait. The Triple Crown champion will come out soon. At that time, who cares who you are? You will be killed all the same. The seventh dragon general's mocking and disdainful expression disappeared, replaced by a hint of seriousness. The aura on Lin Xian's body moved him. Are you the #1 genius of this era? He said in a deep voice. Such a person had the qualifications of a great emperor. He had a high chance of becoming a new great emperor. Lin Xian said, the universe is vast, and there are countless living beings. I don't know if I am the #1, but I can tell you that since I started fighting, I have never tasted defeat. I have been going all the way, and I am still invincible. I have never been defeated. Everyone was shocked. This was an invincible legend. The dragon general's expression was also solemn. His pupils constricted slightly. An invincible existence. Who in the world dares to call themselves invincible? You are too arrogant. Even if you are the #1 in the universe, it is impossible that you have never been defeated. Even great emperors have been defeated, let alone you. His nerves were incomparably cold. He knew that the Dragon Emperor, who he followed in the past, seemed to have been forced back by someone. And it was by a mysterious person. One had to know that the Dragon Emperor, who swept through the heavens and suppressed the universe, had suffered a loss back then. How dare this young man in front of him say that he is invincible? What an arrogant brat. Let me see how strong you are, invincible realm. As he spoke, he waved his hand and launched another dragon in the sky. Wherever the long spear went, everything was destroyed. Chapter 5480. Previously, it was this move that had injured Lin Xian. Would Lin Xian be able to withstand it this time? If he couldn't, his injuries would be even more serious. Defeat was only a matter of time. Lin Xian's expression was also extremely solemn. He attacked with the long sword in his hand and slashed forward. Sun Sword. Boundless flames condensed in his hand. This sword formed a flaming sword chi and slashed forward. The long sword swept across. It was as if thousands of suns had descended into the world together. They shone in all directions. This was also a sword technique that Lin Xian had created himself. The sword chi was terrifying and spread in all directions. In the sky, a flying dragon bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it charged towards Lin Xian. However, it was shrouded by endless suns halfway. The light of the suns fell and crushed the flying dragon. The flying dragon roared and fought against it. The two phantoms fought between heaven and earth. The heaven and earth anomaly shocked the people around the map. Then, the flying dragon was shrouded by the sun and disappeared. He blocked it. Countless people exclaimed. Lin Wudi's sword technique was really too powerful. He could even block a flying dragon in the sky. The seventh dragon general snorted. Terrifying flames? His long spear danced again. The spear was like a dragon, and the illusion of the sea appeared around him. Monstrous seawater swept over. True dragon out of the water. The nether water dragon collided with the flames. The two forces were completely opposite. They fought together. The suns in the sky were extinguished. The monstrous seawater swept over. Was it broken? As expected of the seventh dragon general, his methods were indeed powerful. He could even break Lin Wudi's sword technique. Not good, Brother Xian is in danger. Murong Qingsheng and the others also exclaimed. This dragon general was too terrifying. Although he was suppressing the laws now, he was still a quasi-emperor. He must have swept through everything back then and successfully stepped into the quasi-emperor realm. Such a person was extremely terrifying. They were all worried for Lin Xian. In the face of this shocking attack, Lin Xian was incomparably calm. Another sword. 9 suns opened the sky. 9 suns bloomed and formed a sword. The sword slashed down, splitting heaven and earth. The entire sea was split in half. True Dragon out of the water was also broken. So powerful. Lin Wudi turned around and attacked again. The sea is boundless, and the dragon soars to the 9 heavens. The 7th quasi-emperor brandished his spear again. This time, it was not a true dragon. Instead, dozens of true dragons went out to sea together. The power of the sea was much stronger than before. He killed Zhiyang once again. Then the sun was extinguished. Countless people were shocked. The two of them were truly too powerful. Back and forth, they were evenly matched. This time, how was Lin Xian going to defend himself? Lin Xian snorted coldly. How could the sea compare to the starry sky? Let me tell you what true immeasurable is. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. A sky full of stars appeared behind him. There was a huge amount of starlight revolving around him, as if the universe had descended. The 9 stars linked together, piercing through with a single sword strike. The terrifying sword qi connected the 9 stars together and flew forward like a meteor that could destroy the world. Boom, boom. Those giant dragons galloping in the 9 heavens were struck by these meteors and fell from the sky, falling into the sea, blood staining the 9 heavens. This sword technique was too powerful. Everyone was shocked. To be able to fight with a quasi-emperor and have such an exciting battle. Perhaps only Lin Wudi could do it. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward and said loudly, "7th Dragon General, what other tricks do you have? Show them all." The 7th Dragon General's face became incomparably cold. He did not expect the other party to be so powerful, to be able to block several of his ultimate techniques in succession. Damn it! If not for this extreme space, he would have killed the other party long ago. He snorted coldly, and an extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from his eyes. With a roar, he strode over. Every step he took caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. Lin Xian also raised his sword and charged over. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. Every move carried supreme power. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. The two of them were really in a fierce battle. This Lin Wudi had a high chance of becoming a quasi-emperor in the future. Those from the emperor race were also discussing. The talent that Lin Xian displayed was really too strong. They were also frowning. The appearance of a quasi-emperor was enough to change everything. Moreover, the other party had a high chance of becoming a quasi-emperor. This was the situation that they were worried about. Boom, boom, boom. Another intense collision. Both parties retreated, and an endless black hole formed behind them. The 7th Dragon General roared, and his long spear danced continuously. Heaven and earth, listen to my command. Supreme Dragon Qi, condense. He roared furiously, and boundless dragon qi quickly circled around him. Then, it formed one after another dragon shadow. Those dragon shadows roared into the sky, and each one was different. With the 7th Dragon General as the center, they spread in all directions. Buzz. An extremely terrifying light erupted from the 7th Dragon General's body. His entire body seemed to have become one with his spear, and he turned into an aurora and slashed over. At this moment, nothing could stop him. Lin Xian also frowned. He snorted coldly and transformed into a dragon. Baring his fangs and brandishing his claws, he also slapped over. Clang! Lin Xian's dragon claw slapped on the long spear, and an earth-shattering sound rang out. At the same time, the surrounding dragon shadows rushed onto his body, setting off endless flames. Lin Xian's blood boiled, but an extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The overture of demons turned into a divine sword. A terrifying sound rang out, and one after another, the sword slashed out. It rushed out from his body and slashed in all directions. The surrounding spirit dragons were pierced through and shattered into pieces. Not only that, the sword on Lin Xin's body became more and more terrifying. The dragon claw swung again, and the long spear shook continuously. The seventh divine general's body also trembled, and he seemed to be injured. He was sent flying. Another attack. Lin Xin swept his dragon tail, and finally sent the seventh divine general flying. Slash. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Xin roared, and he unleashed the firmament battle map, and it fell forward. The firmament battle map seemed to have turned into a sky, and it shone brightly. Everywhere it passed, it could suppress everything. Oh no, the surrounding people exclaimed. Is the seventh dragon going to be defeated? Damn it, why did it turn out like this? This was a true quasi-emperor. Even the people from the Thousand Dragon Court felt their scalps go numb. The seventh dragon general felt the power of the firmament battle map, and his face also darkened. He knew how terrifying this thing was, so he didn't resist it. His body swayed, and he dodged like a dragon, but he was still a step too late. The firmament battle map was very fast, and it enveloped him. He didn't escape. He was knocked back, his aura churning, his body swaying, and the light on his body dimmed a lot. Oh no, he was hit. It's over. The seventh dragon general is going to be sealed. The people from the dragon race were pale, but the people from the other emperor races were excited. Great. As expected of Lin Wudi, he is indeed strong. Next, we can continue to move forward and head to the Dragon Emperor Ancient Coffin. These people were all happy, and even Morong Qingqing and the others were smiling. However, on the other side, Long Mu snorted coldly. Stupid, you have completely angered the Dragon General. Lin Wudi, wait for your death. He knew that the Dragon General had not used his main power yet. That was the power of a boundary emperor. Chapter 5481. The heavens battle map enveloped the opponent like a sky. The seventh dragon general was unable to move at all. Everyone thought that Lin Xin had won and cheered happily. The seventh dragon general frowned as he felt the power of the heavens battle map. He snorted. Kid, I didn't expect you to be so strong to be able to take out such a battle map. I seem to have seen it when I was following the Dragon Emperor. It should be related to the heavenly book. Your luck is really good. Unfortunately, do you really think you can seal me away with the battle map? If you were a boundary emperor, you might have succeeded. Unfortunately, you are not. You aren't. You are just a puny saint. You might have a treasure, but you can't contend against me. Let me tell you. A boundary emperor is an existence that is above the sage realm. It is a power that surpasses the sage realm. You won't understand my power. Upon hearing this, the surrounding people's faces changed. What's going on? Could it be that he hasn't lost yet? Impossible. He is in the extreme path space. These people couldn't understand. Only Long Mu was excited. He knew that the show was about to begin. The seventh dragon general snorted as an aura appeared between his eyebrows. The aura wasn't strong and was even very vague. However, the moment it appeared, it caused the sky to collapse. Everyone felt a pressure. Even though they were separated by the aura of the extreme Tao, they could still feel that the pressure was like a mountain toppling and sea overturning. The surrounding sacred race people felt their blood boiling. Some of them even spat out blood. Damn it. What is this? It's too terrifying. Is it the dragon chi? How could it be so terrifying? The people from the remote ancient families were shocked. The people from the divine union were also horrified. They hadn't expected the situation to change. However, the people from the imperial clans all frowned deeply. They sighed. The seventh dragon general was a subordinate of the dragon emperor. After so many years, this power still existed? It was unbelievable. These emperor races had produced great emperors and even boundary emperors before. Naturally, they knew what kind of power this was. However, they hadn't expected the other party to be able to use it. The heavens battle map shook violently. The seventh dragon general was hit by the aura and was instantly sent flying. The light on it dimmed significantly. Kid, did you see that? Your strongest magic treasure couldn't even withstand a single blow from me. What are you going to use to fight me? Today, I'll send you to hell. At this moment, the aura of the seventh dragon general turned extremely horrifying. It was as if he had transformed into a lofty and ancient existence. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were shocked. At the same time, they were confused as to what was going on. Long Mu knew that it was the immortal Chi seed. This was the biggest difference between a quasi-emperor and a saint. A quasi-emperor condensed the immortal Chi seed. This was a transcendent power that surpassed everything. Lin Wudi couldn't block it at all. And everything is over. The seventh dragon general extended a finger and pointed forward. This finger was even more terrifying than the dragon's spear from before. It was as if it had become the only thing in the world. It enveloped Lin Xian. The expressions of the Divine Union members changed drastically. Murong Qingsheng and the others also cried out in alarm. Brother Xian, quickly retreat. We will use our extreme weapons to fight against him. However, it was already too late. This finger enveloped Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian crumbled and cracked. Those extreme Dao auras also began to shake violently. Lin Xian roared. The demonic aura on his body surged and covered the 9 heavens, forming a demonic world. It enveloped everything. Everyone couldn't see it. However, Long Mu snorted coldly. There was no need to look. Nothing would go wrong. Under this finger, Lin Wudi would die without a doubt. The surrounding demonic aura surged. The seventh dragon general snorted coldly. Was this the demon emperor's ability? It was useless. The difference between us isn't something you can withstand. His finger continued to descend mercilessly, coming to the top of Lin Xian's head. If he exerted a little force, the young man in front of him would turn into ashes. However, in the next instant, Lin Xian reached out with his palm and grabbed at the seventh dragon general. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. Stupid thing. The seventh divine general sneered. His finger suddenly sped up. With a boom, it collided with Lin Xian's palm. The difference in strength was enough to destroy everything. An earth-shattering sound was heard, spreading in all directions. It was really too strong. The people outside exclaimed in shock. Long Mu sneered. All right, it's over. The people of the Divine Union were in despair. No, they couldn't believe that Lin Xian would die like this. In the demonic aura, the smile on the seventh divine general's face disappeared and was replaced by shock. His eyes twitched fiercely. This was because he had seen the most unbelievable thing. You didn't die. He roared in horror. His voice became hoarse. How could this be? He had used the immortal energy seed. Any sage who came into contact with this power would die without a doubt. How could this kid in front of him still be alive? More importantly, Lin Xian had blocked his attack with his bare hands. What kind of joke was this? Could it be that his immortal energy seed was also suppressed? Ha. Lin Xian's laughter rang out. Who do you think you are? You are a boundary emperor. Do you think you are superior? You are the dragon emperor's assistant. Do you think you can ignore everything? Do you really think I am an ant? Do you think I am at your mercy? What a pity. You can't do anything to me. So what if you have an immortal energy seed? You are just SOSO. You actually know about the immortal energy seed? The seventh divine general was even more shocked. Not many people in the Emperor clan knew about this thing. Only those who were close to breaking through would know about it. This was a supreme secret. The young man in front of him, a mere sage, actually knew about the immortal energy seed. This was too unbelievable. He snorted coldly and his face darkened. However, a moment later, he exclaimed again. He realized that Lin Xian, who was in front of him, had raised his head. There was a ball of flame dancing between his eyebrows. Although the flame was very small and blurry, the power it emitted was extremely terrifying. It was very similar to his immortal energy seed. They both had supreme and mysterious power. This was? He was too shocked. Divine flame seed. You actually have a divine flame seed. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. How could a mere sage have a divine flame seed? He knew that even someone like Long Mu who had stepped into the sage stage in one step, hadn't condensed one. It was simply impossible for a mere sage to have one. There was still a long way to go. This had completely exceeded his understanding. Lin Xian sneered. There are many things in this world that you don't understand. Do you think you can strut around just because you have the immortal energy seed? Unfortunately, you can't do that in front of me. As soon as he finished speaking, power erupted from his palm. The power of the divine flame seed swept out and blasted the other party's finger away. At the same time, he waved his hand, and the surrounding demonic chi became even more terrifying. He said, "Come, let's have a true battle between immortals. Let's see if your immortal energy seed is more powerful or if my divine flame seed is more powerful." Chapter 5482. It was a battle between the immortal chi seed and the divine fire seed. The people outside couldn't see it. However, the seventh dragon general's expression was extremely solemn. He didn't expect the other party to have the divine fire seed. This was a power that only a boundary emperor had. The other party actually had it in advance, which was really beyond his expectations. The seventh dragon general said in a deep voice, "You really have a secret. Although I don't know how you got the divine fire seed, you can't beat me. Your divine flame seed is too weak, while my immortal chi seed can completely kill you." He stepped out step by step, and the entire world was shaking. The immortal chi seed between his eyebrows emitted a terrifying aura. A monstrous pressure, like a mountain, covered the sky and the earth as it charged forward. This aura was too terrifying. Many of the people outside were so frightened that they knelt on the ground, and Lin Xian was the first to bear the brunt. He shouted coldly, and the flame between his eyebrows jumped. It was like a god walking between heaven and earth. Every step it took caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack, shattering that terrifying aura. The collision between the two was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian's voice was cold. "My divine fire seed is not as strong as yours." However, he had always been growing. "Therefore, you will pay the price for underestimating me. Moreover, let me see how much power you can unleash in this world projection." As he spoke, Lin Xian continued to activate the sword world. The power in the sword world circulated, and the world projection became even more terrifying. The seventh dragon general's expression became serious. He felt that the aura on his body was even more terrifying. Even his immortal chi seed was being suppressed. How was this possible? What kind of power could suppress his immortal chi seed? Damn it! With a roar, he decided to attack with all his might. The kid in front of him was too strange. He couldn't see through him, and he couldn't wait any longer. If his immortal chi seed was completely suppressed, then he would lose this battle. His body swayed, and he held the dragon's spear in his hand as he charged forward. Every attack carried the power of the immortal chi seed. Every move was fatal, as if he was one with heaven and earth. Lin Xian also snorted coldly, and the divine fire seed was also activated to the extreme. He used his great magic to fight. Divine flames danced and spread across his body. Although it was very small, its might far surpassed that of before. The battle between the two shook the earth. It was like a battle between a god and an immortal. After exchanging over 1,000 blows, the seventh dragon general retreated. The immortal chi seed between his eyebrows had dimmed, as if it would vanish at any moment. How is this possible? You can actually suppress me? I don't believe it. He was a true boundary emperor and had cultivated his immortal chi seed to a very powerful level. The other party was a saint that had just obtained the divine flame seed not too long ago. How could he possibly contend against him? Lin Xian's expression was cold, and the divine flame between his brows pulsed. The Thunderlock, the blue dragon's blood, the dragon's spiritual fruit, and the emperor-level dragon crystal appeared around him. All of this energy surged into his divine flame seed. This made the divine flame even more mysterious. You actually possess such power. Seeing this scene, the seventh dragon general was completely stunned. Wasn't this the power of the Tomb Keeper? It was actually obtained by the other party. Could it be that this brat had fought his way here in a domineering manner? Unbelievable. Everything was over. Lin Xian felt a powerful force. He formed a seal with his palm and pressed it forward. There was a flaming mountain pulsing in the palm seal. This was the combination of many kinds of power, and it also contained the power of the divine flame seed. The seventh dragon general tried his best to dodge, but he was still sent flying. A crack appeared on his body. The immortal chi seed between his brows also dimmed. It entered his body and no longer appeared. Outside, everyone was still waiting. They could feel that there was a terrifying battle taking place in the space in front of them. Although they couldn't see it, they knew that it was extremely exciting. Some people frowned, calculating the time. More than 1,000 blows had already passed. Why hadn't he come out yet? Could it be that Lin Wuti had been fighting all this time? That was impossible. How did he do it? Fighting against a boundary emperor? Long Mu frowned even more. One had to know that the seventh dragon general had already displayed his immortal chi seed. He should have been able to kill the other party instantly. What exactly happened? Just as they were puzzled, the void suddenly broke open and a figure retreated. The victor had been decided. Everyone exclaimed. They looked over, but when they realized that the person who came out wasn't Lin Xian, they were dumbfounded. It was actually the seventh dragon general. The people of the 1,000-dragon court couldn't believe it. Long Mu's eyes widened. This was impossible. The seventh divine general had the power of the immortal chi seed. It was a power that surpassed that of a saint. Who could defeat it? Lin Xian appeared in the sky. The divine flame between his brows also disappeared. He looked down like a god and said coldly, "You have lost." As he said that, he waved his hand and threw out the heaven-devouring jar, directly swallowing the power of the other party. The seventh dragon general roared into the sky. His body gradually petrified and turned into a statue. Once again, he returned to his original position. "I have no power. Damn it, I'm going to sleep." The seventh dragon general let out a final roar, and then there was no more movement. Lin Xian put away the heaven-devouring jar. He felt the heaven-devouring jar absorb a powerful force, and the corners of his mouth curled up. He could see that the dragon general's state was very strange. His previous recovery should have been due to the true dragon emperor's ancient tomb providing some powerful force. Now that he had swallowed this force, the other party was naturally petrified again. Had Lin Wuti won? The people of the emperor race were shocked. Lin Wuti had actually defeated a boundary emperor. Although this boundary emperor was suppressed by the extreme path realm, he was still in existence that couldn't be defeated. Lin Wuti was too strong. The people of the 1,000-dragon court were completely crazy. Long Mu's mind was also blank. He really couldn't understand what was going on. Right now, he was looking at Lin Xian with a tinge of fear. Lin Xian landed and returned to the Divine Union. The Divine Union cheered. He said, "Protect me, I have to recover." Next, it was the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. This was the last step. He had to give it his all. The others also took a deep breath and looked to the 6 passageways. They didn't act rashly. Although they didn't know who had broken through the ancient tomb, it was convenient for them now. Only after Lin Xian had fully recovered did they follow him inside. They had unknowingly started to respect Lin Xian. Even the emperor race was like this. In their hearts, Lin Xian was the strongest existence. Even a few emperor's sons could only lower their heads and admit defeat. After passing through one of the passages, the group finally arrived at the front. This was a vast hall. It was very spacious, and there was only an ancient coffin floating there. Around the ancient coffin were countless streams of dragon chi. It was like a huge dragon that was constantly floating between heaven and earth. Chapter 5483. Everyone looked at the ancient coffin in front of them. They were in a daze. This was the coffin that buried an emperor. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes and carefully examined it. He discovered that it seemed to be a stone coffin, but he didn't know what kind of stone it was made of. It was unusually simple and mysterious. The stone used to bury an emperor should be a heaven-defying material. Suddenly, he was stunned. There seemed to be a terrifying dragon roar in his ears. An illusion appeared in front of him. It was the 1,000 dragons picture, carrying a majestic man who swept across the world. This should be Long Xiaotian from back then. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect it to be so powerful after death. The other people were also trembling. It was obvious that they had also seen this scene. The Crimson Dragon at the side exclaimed, "It's so scary. Just one look at the ancient coffin and my soul is about to be buried in it. I will never be able to come back." The others nodded desperately. It was indeed too scary. They didn't dare to look anymore. The Dragon Emperor. After Long Mu and the others arrived, they also walked forward excitedly. However, after a few steps, many of them screamed and turned into blood mist. Even a few cracks appeared on Long Mu's body. He was knocked back and spat out a mouthful of blood. The others sucked in a breath of cold air. What a terrifying power. There was a great Emperor's formation here. No way. It might be the Emperor's aura of the Dragon Emperor's corpse. It was the most terrifying power in the universe. Even if it was dead, it couldn't be challenged. Long Mu knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. "Dragon Emperor, please don't be angry." Although they were his descendants, they didn't dare to get closer. The Emperor was a supreme existence. They couldn't get close and could only look up. The others also sighed. They felt that even if they had the Emperor's weapon, they weren't confident. Because there was a real Emperor buried in front of them. It was an existence that far surpassed a boundary Emperor. One had to know that a boundary Emperor was already very terrifying. However, in front of an Emperor, they were nothing. It seemed that they were going to return empty-handed. The surrounding people sighed. They came to the last step and saw the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. However, they didn't gain anything. "Forget it. Let's go back and see if there are any other treasures in the other halls. I don't want to stay here any longer." The Purple Mansion Palace Master was also scared. The Kurenpong clan, the Fire Qilin clan, and the others all prepared to go back. "Should I go back?" Lin Xian also frowned. He used his Rinnegan to investigate. The ancient coffin in front of him was indeed mysterious. With his current strength, he was unable to challenge it. This hall was very spacious, and it didn't seem to have any treasures. It seemed that he really had to go to the other halls to take a look. Lin Xian also prepared to leave. However, right at that moment, the Tao of Dragon auras ahead suddenly trembled violently. Then, a deep roar came from the ancient coffin. As soon as this voice came out, the souls of the surrounding people cracked, and they screamed as they retreated. They were all terrified. Where did that sound come from? The elder of the Gu family pointed in front of him in horror. It came from the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin. What? The Dragon Sea Master, the Lightning Dragon Patriarch, and the Wind Dragon Patriarch were all stunned. They fell to their knees. Could it be that the voice that came from the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin was the Dragon Emperor? Was the Dragon Emperor still alive? As soon as this was said, the others went crazy. It couldn't be. A great emperor was still alive. This was too unbelievable. Impossible. The old phoenix shook her head. An existence from 90,000 years ago couldn't possibly be alive now. What was going on? The old swordman also frowned. The elder of the Golden Crow tribe said, "This is too scary. Let's leave quickly." Everyone retreated. At that moment, the deep roar of the dragon resounded again. Everyone's souls cracked, and they were about to cry. They realized that the millions of dragon auras in the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin seemed to have received some kind of order and transformed into dragon shadows. An extremely terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes, sweeping across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Everyone was sent flying and vomited blood. The power of a great emperor had completely exceeded them. It wasn't something they could withstand. "Quick, use your extreme weapons." These people roared crazily. The extreme weapons of the great emperor family were used to resist. However, this extreme power seemed to have angered the ancient coffin even more. An even more terrifying Tao of Dragon aura surged out. "Quick, run." These people retreated frantically. The people on the Divine Union side also retreated in fear. At that moment, the millions of dragon auras charged toward Lin Xian. They roared angrily. Lin Xian was being targeted. The people of the Divine Union were also in despair. Lin Xian roared, "Run!" He used the heaven-devouring jar to resist. In the next instant, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Lin Xian was sent flying. Many of the black holes around him were shattered, and blood flowed out from the corners of his mouth. Murong Qingqing and the others were also sent flying. The blood of the others was also churning. What happened? Was it targeting Lin Wudi again? The god-slaying saber seemed to be targeting Lin Wudi. Now, the dragon aura in the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin was the same. Lin Wudi was just too unlucky. The Purple Mansion Lord said, "Have you forgotten? He was someone who had killed the Dragon Prince." Now that he was standing in front of the Dragon Emperor, how could he escape unscathed? The Dragon Emperor's power could definitely kill him. Ha ha ha. Great. Lin Wudi was really an idiot. He actually dared to stand in front of the Dragon Emperor. The people of the Thousand Dragon Court laughed proudly as they retreated from the passage. They were outside. The people of the Divine Union were also sent flying. They couldn't move forward. How was Big Brother Xian? Murong Qingcheng and the others were anxious. However, they realized that the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin in front of them had completely exploded and sealed the passage. No one could enter. Lin Wudi was dead. Long Mu snorted. That was the place where the Dragon Emperor was sleeping. Just one of his powers was enough to destroy the myriad worlds. No matter how strong Lin Wudi was, he was no match for him. The people of the Divine Union were in despair. In the spacious hall, Lin Xian's face turned ugly. Damn it! Was he being targeted again? However, it made sense. He had killed the Dragon Prince and slapped the Dragon Emperor in the face 90,000 years ago. These were all karma. Now that he was standing in front of the Dragon Emperor's corpse, he wouldn't leave so easily. He gritted his teeth and threw out the heaven-devouring jar. The surrounding black hole shrouded him. At the same time, a terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes. He waved his hand and a sword chi slashed forward. Boom! His arm was numb from the impact. The dragon aura in front of him was tumbling. However, it was still intact in an instant. This was the power of a true emperor. It was too strong. Lin Xian was holding half an extreme-grade weapon and using the power of the great dragon sword spirit. Was it not enough? He shouted and took out the great dragon sword spirit. He held it with both hands and was about to explode. However, after the great dragon sword soul flew out, it roared at the sky. It was the 100 Tails divine dragon, and it charged forward directly. Chapter 5484. Lin Xian was stunned by the dragon sword soul's actions. He hadn't moved at all. It was the dragon sword soul that moved on its own. What was going on? Lin Xian frowned. However, he realized that the dragon sword soul was really terrifying. It actually split the dragon chi in its path, forming a crack. Under Lin Xian's surprised gaze, the dragon sword soul flew forward. It came to the front of the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin and then floated above it. There was an angry roar from the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin. Thousands of dragon chi rushed over and turned into a giant dragon to attack the dragon sword soul. Lin Xian didn't have the strength to attack for a while. He heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he looked forward again. What was going on? Were the two fighting? Amidst this dragon's roar, tens of thousands of dragon chi rushed towards the great dragon sword soul. It enveloped the dragon sword soul. However, the great dragon sword soul let out a sword cry. Then, its long sword swept in all directions, cutting all the dragons into pieces. It turned into dragon chi again, and all these things were swallowed by it. The sword blade began to absorb these auras. There was an angry roar from the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin below. The ancient coffin shook. Suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The dragon sword soul was blasted away. Lin Xian was stunned. He was a little afraid. Would the Dragon Emperor's corpse come out? The dragon sword soul was sent flying. It circled and charged over. It directly charged into the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin. Lin Xian couldn't see. He could only see the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin shaking violently. The surrounding dragon chi seemed to have received an order. It rushed into the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin crazily. In front, it seemed to have turned into a storm of energy, sweeping in all directions. The entire hall was filled with spatial cracks. Lin Xian retreated to a corner. He took out the heaven-swallowing jar to block. Under this power, he could only protect himself. The people outside felt their scalps go numb when they felt this power. They pushed further. At the same time, they said that Lin Wudi was dead meat. Zifu and the others laughed coldly. They looked nervous. However, Murong Qingcheng and the others didn't act rashly. They did not go in at all. After experiencing so many dangers, Murong Qingcheng had Lin Xian's Soul Jade tablet. The Soul Jade pendant wasn't broken at all, which meant that although Lin Xian was dangerous, he wasn't in mortal danger. As for why there was such a terrifying power, they had no idea. This power lasted for many days before slowly disappearing on the fourth day. Soon after, the great dragon sword spirit flew out and returned to Lin Xian's body. The dragon qi in front of him had become faint. The Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin also fell to the ground with a rumbling sound. The entire Dragon Emperor ancient curtain shook violently. Was it over? Lin Xian stood up and looked ahead, bewildered. At this moment, the dragon qi above the Dragon Emperor ancient coffin had already disappeared. What happened? The great dragon sword spirit had returned safely. He had defeated the Dragon Emperor's corpse. Why were they fighting? Lin Xian was not aware of any of this. At this moment, a voice rang out. Are you curious? You can go ahead and open the ancient coffin to take a look. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this idea. What a bold idea. The next moment, he was even more horrified. Who was it? He shouted coldly. When the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin exploded, everyone was pushed back. He was the only one left here. But now, someone was talking to him. Who was it? Could it be that the Dragon Emperor's corpse was resurrected? His scalp was about to split open. It's me. The low voice rang out again. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This time, he heard it clearly. The voice came from his body. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan to investigate. The next moment, he was shocked. The great dragon sword spirit. He exclaimed. A sword qi flew out from his body. It was the great dragon sword spirit. The great dragon sword spirit was floating in front of him. He spoke. Yes, it's me. You can speak? Lin Xian was completely stunned. He had owned the great dragon sword spirit for so many years, but he had never heard of it being able to speak. I just woke up, and the great dragon sword spirit spoke. If it weren't for the power of the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to wake up. After hearing this, Lin Xian was completely stunned. The great dragon sword spirit was the sword spirit of the great dragon sword. It could be said that it was also a kind of weapon spirit. Lin Xian thought of the black tortoise 8 trigrams and the destructive spear. Those were all weapons, but they seemed to be living creatures. The great dragon sword was probably such an existence in the past, but now only the sword spirit was left, and it was actually sleeping before. Lin Xian remembered that the moment he entered the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb, the great dragon sword spirit began to absorb power. The first time it absorbed the power of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Whoever entered first would have a special power. But that power was absorbed by the great dragon sword spirit. The second time it absorbed the power of the god-slaying saber, and the third time it absorbed the power of the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. You didn't absorb the Dragon Emperor's corpse, did you? Lin Xian was shocked. The great dragon sword spirit smiled mysteriously. Do you want to know? Open it and take a look. Don't worry, there won't be any danger. There won't be any danger. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. What a joke. How terrifying was the corpse of a great emperor. Lin Xian had seen the corpse of a quasi-emperor before, and he couldn't bear it. The previous great emperor's corpse would turn into ashes as soon as it got close. But now, it said that there wouldn't be any danger. However, the great dragon sword spirit had a look of certainty, which made Lin Xian curious. The terrifying aura in front of him had indeed disappeared. He took a deep breath, took out the heaven-devouring jar with his left hand, created a vortex, and then walked forward. Carefully arriving in front of the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin, Lin Xian stretched out his right hand and grabbed the sarcophagus. He didn't feel any terrifying aura, which made him heave a sigh of relief. In the next moment, He used the power of his divine body. With a crack, just as his divine body was about to collapse, a low sound finally came out. Then, the sarcophagus slowly opened. Lin Xian took a deep breath and took a closer look. However, he was stunned. Because there wasn't a corpse inside, but a battle robe. Where's the Dragon Emperor? Was he really absorbed by you? The great dragon sword spirit flew over, looked at the ancient coffin below, and said, "There wasn't a corpse in the first place, so this battle robe had been buried all along." Cenotaph. Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. He had seen such a situation before. Some people's souls were destroyed in a great battle. Their corpses didn't exist at all, so when they were buried, they would take some of the items used by these people. It was called the cenotaph. But the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb was the tomb of a great emperor, and the Dragon Emperor was also destroyed? He couldn't believe it. He looked at the great dragon sword spirit and said, "Great dragon, what's going on? Can you tell me?" Lin Xian was really curious. Chapter 5485. Lin Xian was really surprised that the Dragon Emperor's corpse was not inside the Dragon Emperor's ancient coffin. So, he looked at the great dragon sword spirit, wanting it to explain. The great dragon sword spirit said, "He didn't have a corpse to begin with, only a battle robe. As for where his corpse went, I don't know either." Lin Xian was too shocked after hearing that. There was only one battle robe buried in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Where was the Dragon Emperor's corpse? It was really too unbelievable. Suddenly, he moved. He turned his head and looked into the distance. There, 6 tunnels had been pierced through. Back then, under the Dragon Emperor, there were 7 dragon generals. They were all quasi-emperors, but now, only the 7th dragon general was left. The first 6 had already disappeared, and the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb had been broken by others. Could it be related to the disappearance of the Dragon Emperor's corpse? Lin Xian wasn't sure. The great dragon sword spirit said, "Don't think about it. You won't understand the methods of the great emperor. Right now, the most important thing is to cultivate well. I can feel that you already have the seed of the divine fire. Next, you just need enough power." Lin Xian said, "I know. I have already gathered a lot of power. I think I should be able to break through to the sacred clan this time. Then let's cultivate here first." Although the Dragon Emperor's corpse was gone, this place was indeed a treasure ground. It was a place personally chosen by the Dragon Emperor. The effect of cultivating here was much better than outside. Lin Xian nodded, indicating that he understood. Then, he began to send a sound transmission to Morong Qingqing and the others, telling them to go back first. Outside, those people were still bewildered. What happened inside? They still didn't dare to go in. At this time, Morong Qingsheng and the others were also stunned when they heard the rumors. Brother Xian is fine and still needs to cultivate inside. He just wants us to go back first. She found Yin Ruyu, Bai Susu, and the Crimson Dragon to discuss. Bai Susu said, "If they left just like that, it would be too obvious. Perhaps others would rush in to investigate. After all, there was no danger inside. How about this? We will pretend to go to other halls to search for treasures. After a while, we will find an excuse to leave." After Morong Qingcheng and the others heard this, they all nodded. "All right, let's do it this way." Morong Qingcheng asked the Old Phoenix and the others to leave first. The Old Phoenix led the Phoenix clan's people to the other halls to search. After a few days, they seemed to have found something. The eyes of the surrounding great emperor clans turned red. Damn it, was Lin Wudi dead? Who knows, but he's dead for sure. He had offended a great emperor, so it was impossible for him to walk out alive. Then why are we still here? I see that the Phoenix clan has gone to look for treasures. Let's go too. I don't want to face the desolate dragon ancient coffin in front anymore. Let's go to the other halls. These monarch clans and remote antiquity clans discussed for a while before leaving one after another. The people from the Z government and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also left. They felt that there was no more suspense. Let's go too. Morong Qingqing and the others also left with the Divine Union. In the remaining time, these people started searching for treasures in the other halls. In fact, from time to time, battles would break out. In the spacious hall ahead, Lin Xian sat down cross-legged. He started to cultivate. The divine flame seed between his eyebrows was slowly growing, and his cultivation was also slowly increasing. He was very close to becoming a divine ancestor. It wouldn't be long before he broke through to become a divine lord. Outside, these people were bewildered. The news of the Dragon Emperor ancient tomb being opened had spread throughout the buried Emperor Star. Countless people were paying attention to this place. However, a great emperor was too terrifying. Apart from the monarch clans who had brought along extreme weapons, only the most elite remote antiquity clans could enter. Moreover, they had to enter together with the monarch clans. After that, no one else could enter. Moreover, in the past few days, another matter had swept across all directions and attracted everyone's attention. Z Mansion residence. In a mysterious pavilion, a figure woke up from a deep sleep. He slowly opened his eyes and roared. He roared at the sky, and purple chi rushed out from his body, sweeping in all directions. The world was shocked. Everyone in the buried Emperor Star was alarmed. This aura is so terrifying. I feel like there's a heavenly phenomenon. Did someone break through? One after another, cries of surprise sounded out. Everyone went to investigate. That should be the direction of the Z Mansion. Could it be that Yao Guang broke through? Hearing this, the surrounding people's scalps went numb. Yao Guang was a cultivator of the devouring demonic technique. Did he devour someone powerful? However, this time, they guessed wrong. It wasn't Yao Guang. The people in the Z Mansion were also shocked and looked over. Yao Guang walked out from a palace. He looked into the distance with a cold expression. This aura was too powerful. It had surpassed his. In his mind, 9 firmament quasi-emperor's voice sounded out. Triple Crown Champion? He had awakened faster than he had imagined. Yao Guang coldly snorted and clenched his fists. One day, I will also become the Triple Crown Champion. 9 firmament quasi-emperor said. You should recover from your injuries first. Yao Guang turned around and entered the darkness. The other elders in the Z Mansion were excited. He had awakened. The Triple Crown Champion had awakened. They all walked towards the heaven-connecting pagoda in the distance. They waited there. Within the heaven-connecting pagoda, a man in purple opened his eyes. There was a trace of confusion in his eyes. After a long time, the light slowly returned to his eyes. He stood up and clenched his fists. Then, he looked around him. Had he awakened? He wondered how long he had been asleep this time. Greetings, Triple Crown Champion. In the 4 corners of the room, there were 4 old figures. They stood up, their faces pale. It was these 4 people who had been responsible for awakening Triple Crown Champion. Triple Crown Champion looked at the 4 old men and asked in a low voice. How many years had it been? One of the old men said. You have been asleep for 23,000 years. Now is a golden age. Someone in this generation will definitely become a great emperor. A golden age? Triple Crown Champion nodded. The corners of his mouth curled up. Then the one to become a great emperor will definitely be me. He walked out with large strides. As he walked down the stairs, he discovered that there were even more people waiting outside. These people were curiously sizing up the person in front of them. What a terrifying aura. Was she the Triple Crown Champion? Just how terrifying was this person's strength? She had surpassed Lin Wudi and was a light-shaking realm cultivator. These people sighed in amazement. Just a trace of her aura was enough to make them feel as if they were facing a powerful enemy. Purple Underworld walked out, looked around, and harumphed coldly. A domineering aura emanated from his body, sweeping out in all directions. These people felt their scalps go numb. They all lowered their heads, not daring to look. Where was this generation's palace lord? Purple Underworld stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He was like a god looking down on the world. Very quickly, 3 old men walked over from the distance. These 3 were very old, like living fossils. They were the Grand Elders. They said that the Palace Lord had brought people to attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb. We are the Grand Elders of this generation. We have come to welcome you. Chapter 5486. Attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Hearing this, Ziming was also astonished. Had this era already become so terrifying? They dared to attack the tomb of a great emperor? It's a long story. Triple Crown Champion, please come with us. The three elders were very polite. Although they were living fossils, the person in front of them was a Triple Crown Champion. In the Dragon Transformation Battle, Lin Wudi, Yao Guang, and the others were Double Crown Champions. The Triple Crown was in existence above Lin Wudi and Yao Guang. They naturally didn't dare to be careless. Ziming nodded and followed the three elders into the distance. Everyone stepped aside to make a path for him. Ziming wanted to hear how these people explained. At the same time, he said loudly, inform everyone that in 3 days, I want everyone in the Purple Mansion to come and see me. When these words came out, everyone was shocked. Many people's scalps went numb. Everyone in the Purple Mansion greeted him. Who did this guy think he was? Mansion Master? What a joke. This guy was too arrogant. However, the three elders said, don't worry, we'll take care of this matter. After Ziming woke up, he had been very domineering and didn't put these people in his eyes. Even in front of the elders, he didn't hold back. Because he had the right to do so. He was a Triple Crown Champion, and his strength was enough to split heaven and earth. These elders might not be able to beat him. Therefore, he seemed to have turned into the king of the Purple Mansion and had no scruples here. After entering a large hall, the three supreme elders recounted what had happened in detail. Ziming narrowed his eyes. Lin Wudi and Yao Guang. One of them was first in the Dragon Transformation Battle, and the other cultivated the demonic engulfing art? Interesting. Then, when he heard that even people with born Taoism aptitude and light race had appeared, he was shocked. Born Taoism aptitude, one of the top 10 physiques in the universe. The light race had been extinct. He didn't expect that there were still people alive. As expected of the Golden Age, it seemed that this generation would have a great emperor. However, they didn't have any hope. Lin Wudi, the light race, and Yao Guang were no match for him. No matter how strong they were only Double Crown Champions. And he was a Triple Crown Champion. Go and prepare. I want to see everyone in 3 days, Violet Shade said in a deep voice. These utmost exalted elders were also frowning deeply. They were polite because they valued the other party. However, this Ziming was a bit too arrogant. Did he really treat them like servants? One of the red-haired grand elders said, you just woke up. You should rest for a while. Another supreme elder wearing a blue robe also spoke. That's right. We have awakened you this time because we have a very big mission for you. You have to deal with Lin Wudi and destroy it. He is our greatest enemy. Are you ordering me around? Ziming's face darkened. Suddenly, he attacked the red-haired old man with lightning speed. His palm seemed to have transformed into a purple lightning bolt. How dare you? The red-haired old man was also furious. Previously, the other party had been arrogantly ordering them around, causing him to be furious. Now, the other party actually dared to directly attack him? He didn't hold back anymore. He clapped his hands, which turned into a cloud of fire that swept out in all directions. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The entire hall split open. Endless cracks appeared in the sky, and the mansion shook. At this moment, everyone was stunned. What happened? Was someone fighting? They all soared into the air and looked into the distance. In the shattered ruins, a figure kept retreating. It was the red-haired old man. At this moment, his palm was split open, and his arms were trembling. Saint blood dripped down, sinking the ground. His eyes were filled with horror. He was injured. The other party had injured him so easily. Ziming retracted his palm and stood with his hands behind his back. It seems that you still don't know my identity. I am the Triple Crown Champion. I didn't awaken at your command. I was ordered to lead you. Now, obediently do as I say and respect me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. As he spoke, he took a step forward. The aura on his body suddenly exploded, as if a primordial beast had been resurrected. The three utmost exalted elders' expressions changed. This aura was really too powerful. They were like small boats swaying in a storm. In addition, their companion, the red-haired old man, was very powerful. Yet, he was injured in a single attack. Was this the strength of the Triple Crown champion? It was so terrifying. It seemed that no one at the peak of the great sage realm could suppress him. What happened, utmost exalted elders? The young cultivators and the old elders in the distance all rushed over to ask. The hall was in ruins. Who was it? Was someone ambushing them? When they saw that the red-haired old man was injured, they saw that the utmost exalted elders were injured on the screen. Who was the one who did this? When they saw a purple figure standing opposite the three utmost exalted elders, their scalps went numb. Could it be that the Triple Crown champion had attacked again? They couldn't believe it. These people landed and looked at the utmost exalted elders. The blue-haired elder said, "If there's nothing else, leave." The red-haired old man's arm recovered. He said, "I'm sparring with the Triple Crown champion. If there's nothing else, leave." He really was fighting the Triple Crown champion, and the Triple Crown champion had injured the utmost exalted elders. Heavens, this was the power of the Triple Crown champion. It was really too terrifying. Since it was a sparring session, they didn't think too much and left. Zeming narrowed his eyes and said, "You all can leave as well. In 3 days, I want to see everyone." As he spoke, he soared into the air and flew into the distance. After seeing Zeming leave, the blue-robed old man coldly snorted. This guy was really arrogant. The other utmost exalted elder frowned. Zeming's strength was really too terrifying. The red-haired old man also sighed. "I'm no match for him. Even if the three of us attacked, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to suppress him. Moreover, we have no reason to attack him. Although he's a bit arrogant, he's still a member of the Purple Mansion. Let's listen to him for now and wait for the Purple Mansion to return." The three elders sighed. They didn't know if letting out such an arrogant Triple Crown champion was a blessing or a curse for them. Next, the three elders went to inform the people of the Purple Mansion. 3 days later, they gathered. The people of the Purple Mansion were shocked. They all began to move. 3 days later, the square in front of the Purple Mansion's main hall was filled with people. It was so large that one couldn't see the end of it. These were all people who were qualified to be here. There were also some who weren't. They stood there, extremely puzzled. They didn't know why the utmost exalted elder had called them here. Among them, there were many experts of the older generation and the 9 successors. These people were also puzzled. Qin Xiener was also among them. She said, "I heard that the Triple Crown champion woke up some time ago. Perhaps this gathering has something to do with him." Chapter 5487. At this moment, a man in purple walked out from the hall in front of them. He looked arrogant, as if a divine king had descended. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they felt this aura. Countless pairs of eyes looked forward. Was he the Triple Crown champion? Zeming's eyes turned into purple lightning and looked forward like a peerless divine sword. He looked at the 9 successors, the elders of the older generation, the young geniuses, and some people who had awakened from their deep slumber. Then he asked, "Is everyone here?" The red-haired Grand Elder walked over and said, "The people who followed the Mansion Master haven't returned yet." In addition, Yao Guang was injured and was still recovering in seclusion. Yao Guang? Zeming asked. "Is he the successor of the demonic sky-devouring technique?" "That's right." The Grand Elder nodded. Zeming snorted coldly. "This Yao Guang is too arrogant. Didn't I say that everyone should come? How dare he be so arrogant?" Everyone was shocked by the cold snort. The Grand Elder said that Yao Guang was injured. However, Zeming waved his hand and stopped him. "Where is Yao Guang? If you don't tell me, I'll use my own methods to find her one by one. But when the time comes, the Purple Mansion will be destroyed." Zeming's voice was incomparably cold. The Grand Elder had no choice but to grit his teeth and say, "In the 7th palace." The Purple Mansion was very big and had many areas. Yao Guang's residence was the 7th palace. The majestic main hall stood tall on the ground, and the array flickered. Zeming rushed into the sky. The 7th palace? He rushed over. The Grand Elder's pupils shrank. "Oh no, what is this guy going to do?" They also followed. The others followed. The 9 geniuses, the other elders, and those who had awakened from their deep slumber all followed. They also wanted to see what the Triple Crown champion was going to do. They knew that Yao Guang was very strong. He was second in the dragon transformation realm, second only to Lin Wuti. His future was unparalleled. He had a very high status in the Purple Mansion. Now that the other party was injured and couldn't come, what could the Triple Crown champion do? Some people were in the mood to watch a show because they felt that the Triple Crown champion was too arrogant. He had just awakened, and he didn't care about everything. How dare he summon them? He was also rude to the Grand Elder. Soon, they arrived above the 7th palace. Looking at the majestic palace below, Ziming coldly snorted and slapped out with his palm. The purple thunderbolt transformed into a giant hand, blotting out the sky as it charged towards the 7th palace. The array outside flickered, and then it shattered with a loud bang. The sky was filled with the sound of thunder. Everyone was pushed back by this force. They were all dumbfounded. This guy actually dared to make a move. The Grand Elder's expression also changed. Just as they were about to say something, Ziming coldly snorted. Yao Guang, come out and see me. The 7th hall shook violently. The array formation shattered, and the fragments of the laws scattered all over the floor. The palace was shaken, and the light-shaking realm cultivators opened their eyes. His face darkened. Someone dared to attack him at this time, disturbing his cultivation. Who was so reckless? Killing intent emerged from his body. Immediately after, he heard a voice. Yao Guang, come out and see me. The light-shaking elder was enraged. He coldly harumphed, and his figure flickered as he walked out. He looked up at the sky. Who dares to attack my residence? Do you want to die? He stared at Ziming. Ziming coldly laughed. You're the light-shaking elder? Did you receive the recruitment order I sent earlier? Ziming frowned. It was actually this guy. He had met this person before. Wasn't this the Triple Crown champion who had just awakened? The other party had actually come to cause trouble for him. When he heard this, he coldly harumphed. I'm injured, so I must go into seclusion to cultivate. Ziming laughed. You dare to disobey my orders? It seems that you don't know how powerful I am. As he spoke, he waved his hand. A bolt of lightning flew out, directly attacking the light-shaking elder. The light-shaking elder's expression changed. You're courting death. He struck out with his palm, forming a monstrous barren crack that tore the sky apart. He blocked the bolt of lightning. However, his body still swayed, and he retreated. There was nothing he could do. The other party was the Triple Crown champion, while he was only the Double Crown champion, and he was injured. The difference in strength between the two was extremely large. Seeing that the light-shaking elder was being targeted, the surrounding people also cried out in surprise. Ziming coldly laughed. Successor of the demonic heaven-devouring art, I want to see what qualifications you have to be arrogant in front of me. As he spoke, he waved his hand again. He seemed to have transformed into a purple thunder god. Then, he waved his claw, and the thunder god's claw covered the sky as it attacked the light-shaking elder. The light-shaking elder's pupils constricted, and he tried to dodge. He used the Gu clan's spatial divine ability, but he was still knocked out. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood. The others were in an uproar. Wasn't light-shaking elder injured? The Triple Crown champion was actually so powerful. Some people also said that it was because light-shaking elder's injuries had not healed. Otherwise, she would not have been injured so easily. Light-shaking elder was also furious. Damn it! A black vortex appeared on his body, and at the same time, a primal chaos aura spread out. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. At this moment, he used his strength to the extreme, and he did not care about the injuries he suffered. As soon as the primal chaos physique appeared, it possessed the power to split heaven and earth and condensed into the bloodline divine axe. With a swing of the axe, heaven and earth split open. It appeared, the light-shaking elder's most powerful technique. Countless people cried out in surprise. Previously, this axe had defeated countless experts, and it had only lost to Lin Wuti. Presumably, this attack could definitely threaten the Triple Crown champion. When he saw this, the Triple Crown champion narrowed his eyes. The power of the primal chaos race. It seems that you have devoured a primal chaos genius. But so what? You're too weak. You don't understand the Triple Crown Champion's strength at all. Let me show you what my true strength is. Endless lightning circled around his body, and he also carried a sinister aura, as if he had rushed out from hell. The lightning formed a purple spear, and it pierced downwards. The spear pierced through heaven and earth, and it carried with it a destructive power. In an instant, it pierced through the 9 heavens. Not good, it's the underworld spear. When the Grand Elder saw this, he cried out in surprise. Light-shaking Elder, light-shaking Elder roared angrily. Slash. The bloodline divine axe in her hand slashed downwards. This axe was so powerful that it was as if an ancient mountain had descended, and it turned the void into a black hole. Endless darkness descended. Everyone's scalps went numb, and they frantically retreated. However, in this darkness, a purple arc of lightning flashed rapidly. He split the darkness apart and crashed into the bloodline divine axe. With a clang, the bloodline divine axe was pierced through. Light-shaking Elder was also sent flying. His body had been pierced through by the purple lightning, and he was nailed to the ground. A frenzied roar rang out. When everyone saw this scene, they were incomparably terrified. Light-shaking Elder's strongest attack had been broken so easily? Was this the strength of the Triple Crown Champion? It was too terrifying. It was so powerful that it made people despair. Chapter 5488. The people from the Purple Mansion sect couldn't believe what they were seeing. Even the 3 Grand Elders were dumbfounded. They knew that there was a gap between the two sides, but they didn't expect it to be so big. Yao Guang was defeated so easily. It was beyond their expectations. The purple underworld slowly descended. It landed on the ground and walked forward. You're pitifully weak. I just used a few moves, and you were defeated. As soon as he finished speaking, he arrived in front of Yao Guang. He stepped on Yao Guang's head and asked coldly, "Now you know the gap between us. Do you still think you have the right to be arrogant in front of me?" Shock. Incomparable shock. Everyone went crazy. Was this the Triple Crown Champion? After all, Lin Wudi had used his full strength to defeat a light-shaking realm cultivator. But now, the Triple Crown Champion had easily defeated a light-shaking realm cultivator and was even stepping on Yao Guang's head. This was a complete one-sided victory. Yao Guang was also shocked. How could there be such a powerful person? After all, his only enemy was Lin Wudi. He didn't care about anyone else, even if he knew that the Triple Crown Champion had appeared. So what? In his opinion, even though he was only the Double Crown Champion, he would have no problem defeating the Triple Crown Champion. After all, he had many trump cards, so he didn't care about his opponent at all. But now, he realized that the situation wasn't like that at all. The Triple Crown Champion's strength was far beyond his expectations. Damn it, my injuries haven't healed yet. Otherwise, he would have. However, Purple Underworld sneered. Your injuries haven't healed, stupid thing. Even if your injuries were healed, 10 of you wouldn't be able to defeat me. He stomped on Yao Guang's body and shattered it. I don't like people who resist me. Even though you're a genius expert, if you dare to resist me, you can go to hell. A cold killing intent appeared in Purple Underworld's eyes. This time, he had come out with the intention of taking over the entire Purple Mansion sect. Yao Guang didn't give him face during his first summon. He planned to kill him to intimidate everyone. Sensing this killing intent, the distant descendants were shocked. Heavens, he actually wanted to kill Yao Guang. The 3 Grand Elders also shouted angrily. No, the light-shaking realm was extremely important to them. If he were to die, they would not be able to accept it. Yao Guang's pupils shrank as she sensed a fatal danger. She knew that the other party was really going to kill her. A furious roar rang out. Damn it, are you still not going to make a move? Quasi-Emperor Jiao Shao sighed in his mind. In the last battle, the remnant soul of the 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor was also injured and did not have much strength left. But now, he had no choice but to make a move. It seemed that after this attack, he would have to go into a deep sleep again. Boom! The remnant soul of the nine firmaments quasi-emperor went out and struck out a large illusory hand. It collided with the other party's lightning. A world-shaking sound rang out, and the Triple Crown King was forced back. The lightning on his body had dimmed significantly, causing him to frown deeply. His gaze pierced through the void as he stared ahead. "You actually still have a trump card?" Yao Guang stood up, and her shattered body recovered. His face became incomparably gloomy, and at the same time, a powerful soul force rushed out. It covered the sky and covered the earth. Feeling the aura of this soul, the surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. They couldn't help but want to kneel down and worship it. The three Grand Elders' pupils shrank. This was the aura of a quasi-emperor. They cried out in alarm. The Triple Crown King was also shocked. He didn't expect the other party to have the power of a quasi-emperor. Although he was the Triple Crown King, he was still no match for the power of a quasi-emperor. But soon, he laughed coldly. So it was just a trace of power. It was only enough to protect himself. How long could you use the power of a quasi-emperor for? He took a step forward. The power in his body erupted once again. Yao Guang soared into the sky and stared coldly at the Triple Crown King. "Just you wait. Today, you dared to attack me and injure me. In the future, I will pay you back 100-fold. As he spoke, he tore through the void and disappeared. He actually escaped. Ziming frowned, but he didn't give chase. The other party had the power of a quasi-emperor. He couldn't kill him now, but he didn't care about such a threat. Now that he had awakened and was in the Golden Age, he would also break through one day. He would become a quasi-emperor. At that time, it would be easy for him to kill the other party. The others were all shocked. The Yao Guang had actually escaped. It was too unbelievable. This was a Yao Guang. Even against Lin Wudi, he wouldn't have escaped. He even dared to challenge Lin Xian. But now, in front of the Triple Crown King, he had no power to resist. In the end, if the quasi-emperor hadn't appeared, the Yao Guang would have died. Now, they looked at Ziming with fear in their eyes. This person was undefeatable. Ziming coldly harumphed. "You ran fast." He turned around and looked at the others. "Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me?" The surrounding disciples, experts, and elders all lowered their heads. No one dared to challenge him. The three supreme elders also sighed. Good. Ziming's lips curled up. From now on, he was the leader of the Purple Palace. Next, let's talk about Lin Wudi. I heard that he was even stronger than this Yao Guang. But in my eyes, he was also an ant. He challenged the Purple Palace many times, and you couldn't do anything. But since I've awakened, I will kill him. I will let everyone know the power of the Purple Palace. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Was this guy going to attack Lin Wudi? Some of the Purple Palace experts smiled. That's great. Although the Triple Crown King was arrogant and overbearing, he was still a member of the Purple Palace. Lin Wudi was their enemy, and the Triple Crown King could easily defeat the Yao Guang. Although Lin Wudi was stronger than the Yao Guang, he would still die if he encountered the Triple Crown King. Qin Xian's eyes shrank. This time, she was really worried about Lin Xian. She took a deep breath and walked out. From what I know, Lin Wudi also went to the Dragonflower Ancient Tomb. Since he hasn't come out yet, why don't we do other things first? It won't be too late to make a move after Lin Wudi comes out. Qin Xian wanted to buy some time, so that she could send a message to Lin Xian. She wanted Lin Xian to quickly leave this place. Oh, he's not here either? But it doesn't matter. Even if he's not here, his sect should be. I heard it's called the Divine Union. We can make a move against him first. How about this? I'll give you 3 days to prepare. After 3 days, follow me to destroy the Divine Union. Once these words were spoken, countless people went into an uproar. Some people clenched their fists. Destroy the Divine Union. Fine, they would destroy the Divine Union first and wait for Lin Wudi to come back before destroying him. Everyone knew that the Divine Union was really finished this time. They quickly made their preparations. Ziming's lips curled into a smile. First place in the Dragon Transformation Battle? Invincible? In front of him, everyone was an ant. Chapter 5489. The people in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb did not know about this yet. The Emperor clan and remote antiquity family searched the other halls and found fewer and fewer treasures. They were ready to leave. In the deepest part of the palace, there was still no one who could enter. Only Lin Xian sat there cross-legged, cultivating. The aura on his body was getting stronger and stronger. It would not take long for him to break through and reach the peak of the great sage realm. However, a storm was brewing in Saint Origin Ancient City. This ancient city had been around for a long time, and there were countless families and sects in it. The Divine Union was one of them. It had been established in recent years. This was unbelievable. In this ancient city, these families and sects had been around for thousands, or even tens of thousands of years. No one had been able to establish a sect here in the past 1,000 years, let alone in the past 100 years. However, Lin Xian had done it. He had established the Divine Union single-handedly and stood tall in this ancient city. The moment it was established, it had swept through everything. The Divine Union was a top-notch existence in this ancient city. At this moment, there was a group of powerhouses in the sky. The leader was Ziming. Behind him were the elders. They were successors and powerhouses. The three grand elders were in charge of guarding the Purple Mansion to prevent others from sneaking up on them. This time, not everyone had come. It could be said that less than half of them had come. However, everyone was confident because they had the Triple Crown Champion. Actually, a Triple Crown Champion was enough to sweep through everything and destroy the entire Divine Union. They had only brought others along to create a grand scene. Was the Divine Union below? It was said that this was a force that had been established in the ancient city recently. However, it was a pity that he was going to be destroyed from today onwards. Ziming looked down at the palace below with a cold smile on his face. At the same time, in the Purple Mansion, Qin Xianer looked up at the sky with a grave expression. This time, she did not follow. Instead, she chose to stay in the Purple Mansion. She was friends with Lin Xian, so she could not do anything to the three alliances. More importantly, it would be easier for her to transmit information if she stayed here. At this moment, he formed a hand seal and created a transportation array to send the message out. Lin Xian, this is all I can do to help you. Hurry up and leave. Don't go against the Triple Crown Champion. Qin Xianer shook her head and sighed. She started to wait anxiously. Meanwhile, in the Divine Union, Fu Hongye frowned. When he received the news, he immediately summoned a few people. Among them were Nalan Liang, Yu Ren, and Shangguan Shaoxian. These people were either disciples of the Divine Union or Peerless City. At this moment, they gathered together and began to discuss. Why are you looking for us? Nalan asked. Yuren also said, Senior brother Fu, your complexion doesn't look too good. On the other hand, Fu Hongye's expression was grave. He had said that something bad had happened and that someone was going to attack the Divine Union. Hearing this, Fatty Nalan laughed. I say, have you not been resting well recently? What nonsense was he talking about? Who dares to attack the Divine Union? That was it. Yuren also shook his head. The Divine Union was a top-notch sect in Ancient City. More importantly, our boss, Lin Wudi, was the champion of the Dragon Transformation Trial. Who would dare to provoke him? However, Fu Hongye's brows were tightly knitted together. He said that the situation was not optimistic. This time around, Little Uncle Master was not around. As for the other powerful beings, many of them had left as well. Our Divine Union's defenses aren't that strong right now, so the other families and sects wouldn't dare to make a move. This was because they were afraid of Little Uncle Master. However, not everyone was afraid. This time, it was the people from the Purple Mansion. Hearing this, Fatty Nalan was instantly enraged. Did the Purple Mansion not know what was good for them? Shangguan Shaoxian also said that the Purple Mansion's top genius, the light-shaking realm, had already lost to Little Uncle Master. They still dared to behave atrociously here? Hongye shook his head. I received news that the Triple Crown Champion in the Purple Mansion has awakened. He is currently leading people to attack the Divine Union. Triple Crown Champion? Fatty Nalan sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard this. Fu Hongye nodded. He had defeated Yao Guang in one move, and had even almost killed her. If it weren't for the fact that Yao Guang had the strength of a quasi-emperor, she would have already died. Even so, Yao Guang had escaped from the Purple Mansion and her whereabouts were unknown. What? This time, Fatty Nailan and the others were completely stunned. They knew how terrifying Yao Guang was. Yao Guang was second only to Lin Xian. Even Lin Xian had to go all out to defeat Yao Guang. However, he had been defeated in one move. Then how terrifying was this Triple Crown champion? They didn't dare to imagine. And now, such a person had actually come to attack them. Damn it! When would Boss Lin return? They were really anxious this time. Fu Hongye said that she had asked, and he couldn't return yet. This time, we will have to rely on ourselves. However, I have already sent a message to the Crimson Dragon and the others, asking them to return quickly. We have to make preparations too. Shangguan Shaoxian took a deep breath. Let's activate the Great Array first. Fortunately, the Crimson Dragon had left many arrays for us. Now, let's activate them all and go all out. That's right. Before the Crimson Dragon and the others and Boss Lin return, we have to do everything we can. We have to stop them. The Divine Union is Boss Lin's blood, sweat, and tears. We can't let it be destroyed in our hands. Fatty Nailan and the others also stood up. Their eyes were filled with determination as they defended the Divine Union with their lives. These people started to move. At the same time, the Divine Union was also mobilized. They started to gather energy and activate the array. They didn't know what was going on. They only knew that a strong enemy was attacking. Boom. At the same time, Purple Ming's people quickly descended from the sky. In the next moment, they tore through the void and descended. In an instant, they arrived above the Divine Union. At the same time, a fierce attack was launched. It turned into a purple thunderbolt and blasted towards the Divine Union below. With a loud boom, the thunderbolt, which contained endless destructive power, shattered everything. The vast power spread in all directions. At this moment, the entire saintly origin ancient city shook violently. Countless families and sects in the ancient city looked up at the sky. Damn it, what was going on? There was a battle. It was an extremely terrifying battle. Who was it? They looked up at the sky. This direction seemed to be the direction of the Divine Union. Someone was attacking the Divine Union. It couldn't be, right? Didn't Lin Wudi and the others go to attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb? If the Divine Union was attacked now, they would be in real danger. Exclamations rang out one after another. The people of the three major orthodoxies were also stunned. The people of the Tao also looked up at the sky. Not good. The Divine Union is in danger. Hurry up and inform the elders. At this moment, everyone related to the Divine Union moved quickly. As for the people of the Divine Union, they were so shocked that their blood was boiling. They were terrified. Fortunately, they had activated the array in advance. Otherwise, countless people inside would have been annihilated by this attack. It's coming. Hongye and Shangguan Shaoxian also walked out of the hall. They looked up at the sky. They saw countless godlike figures descending from the sky. Chapter 5490. The entire ancient city was also alarmed. They were incomparably shocked as they watched this scene. Was someone attacking the Divine Union? Oh my God. Was that really the case? Who was it? The Divine Union was like the sun in the sky. Who would dare to act recklessly? Everyone moved forward. The space around the Divine Union was constantly shattering as countless figures stood in the sky. Tens of thousands of nomological laws fell from their bodies and pierced through the sky. More importantly, the purple palm had shattered many of their arrays. The Divine Union was shaken. The people inside also walked out. They looked at the scene above them with solemn expressions. Fatty Nailan walked out and shouted in a cold voice. Who were these people? Leave quickly or don't blame the Divine Union for being impolite. Countless nomological laws appeared in the Divine Union after he said that. The arrays were activated and a few terrifying sacred weapons floated in the sky. Humph! Today is the day you die. A figure walked out from the sky. It was a descendant of the Z Mansion. He said loudly, Today, the Z Mansion is here to take revenge. We will destroy the divine union. Where is Linwoody? Get him out here. It was actually someone from the Z Mansion. The surrounding people were in an uproar. Fatty Nailan and the rest already knew. They frowned at the moment. Fu Hongya and the others searched the sky with their eyes. They knew that a Triple Crown champion had arrived. Who was it? Suddenly, they saw a figure standing among the countless experts. The aura of the other party was too terrifying. It was like a supreme god. Was this the Triple Crown champion? Countless people gasped. He was too strong. It felt as if the other party could turn them into ashes with a wave of his hand. Fu Hongya walked out and said, "I will give you one last chance to leave." Stupid. At this moment, Ziming also spoke up. The people from the Z Mansion did not dare to say anything. They just waited quietly. Ziming waved his hand. Attack. Today, we will make them disappear. After receiving the order, the people from the Z Mansion roared. Their attacks covered the sky and covered the earth. Had the battle really begun? Countless people were shocked. This Sifu palace was too crazy. Damn it. Defend. Fu Hongya and the others knew how terrifying the Triple Crown champion was, so they prepared to defend. All they had to do was wait for the Crimson Dragon and Lin Xian to return. Countless formations lit up between heaven and earth, and one of them was a mountain-protecting formation. 36 cauldrons appeared at the same time. Each of them was like an ancient mountain, suppressing the world. This was a formation set up by the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon was a Geomaster and had the Geomaster scripture. He used the power of the earth and combined it with his attainments in array formations to create the grand heavenly cycle array. This was an extremely powerful array formation. Even a sacred lord would not be able to open it. It served as the Divine Union's mountain protection array. At that moment, the cosmic cycle cauldron opened immediately. The people from the Purple Mansion also roared. They already had a grudge with the Divine Union, so they naturally wouldn't hold back. On top of that, they were led by a Triple Crown champion, so they were very confident. These people had sword chi soaring to the sky, saber chi flashing, thunder flame, ice frost, and demonic beasts. All kinds of attacks covered the sky and the earth, hitting the array formation. This caused the array formation to shake violently. This power was so shocking that the people in the ancient city felt their scalps go numb. If it had been any other ancient family, their defenses would have been torn apart long ago. Between heaven and earth, the 36 cauldrons floated up and down, releasing a heavy power. They actually blocked these attacks. This was even more shocking. The Divine Union's array formation was so terrifying. Even the people from the Purple Mansion were surprised. The leader of the disciples and the elders shouted angrily and attacked again. However, after 3 attacks, their faces had turned pale. The Divine Union's array formation had not been opened yet. This mountain protection array was too scary. Damn it, who was the one who set this up? Was it Linwoody? That was impossible. His array formation attainments were definitely not that strong. There was an array formation expert behind the Divine Union. These people were going crazy. This time, they had come with a strong intention to destroy the Divine Union. However, they couldn't even open the mountain protection array. If they returned empty-handed, the Purple Mansion would lose all face. Behind them, Ziming's face darkened when he saw this scene. He snorted coldly. A bunch of trash. Get out of my way. Upon hearing this, the surrounding people retreated one after another. They knew that the Triple Crown champion was about to make a move. The other families and sects in Saintly Origin City were puzzled when they saw this scene. What was going on? The people from the Sky sect frowned. Was the Purple Mansion giving up? No. The people from the Earth sect realized that another person from the Purple Mansion had walked out. Heavens! Did he want to make a move alone? Who did he think he was? One had to know that the person in front of them was very unfamiliar. He didn't even have an extreme-grade weapon. Previously, so many powerhouses had attacked together, but they hadn't been able to break the array formation. Could he do it alone? What a joke. Therefore, the people watching from afar shook their heads and sneered. They felt that the Purple Mansion was going to return empty-handed this time. After Ziming walked out, his eyes shone with a piercing cold light. Purple Sky Underworld Earth Palm. He formed a seal with his palms, forming an ancient imprint. The power of the 9 heavens and the 9 underworlds was mobilized by him. It slowly condensed in front of him. Then, with a loud boom, it slammed towards the divine union. The sky split open and the earth shook. Everyone's hair stood on end. The people watching from afar narrowed their eyes. Damn it! What was going on? Many people were so frightened that they almost knelt on the ground. Who exactly was this person in front of them? This person was too strong. Why did they feel like they were facing a god? Their eyelids twitched. They now knew that they had underestimated the Purple Mansion. The person in front of them was an unimaginably mysterious existence. The people from the divine union narrowed their eyes as well. Fu Hongya roared, "Block it with all your might." The universal cauldrons were unleashed to the extreme. The 36 cauldrons shone brightly between heaven and earth. They formed the strongest defense and collided with the palm. With a loud clang, the 9 heavens and 10 underworlds were pierced through. The people from the divine union felt their blood boiling. Some of the people watching from afar were shaken. Their souls split open and they vomited blood. With one strike, the 12 black cauldrons shook and cracks appeared on them. A few of them even cracked open. With one strike, the universal defensive array was broken. How was this possible? The people from the divine union were trembling. The others were even more stunned. This person alone had surpassed the combined strength of all the people from the Purple Mansion. He was too strong. He was unbelievably strong. When had such an expert appeared on Burial Earthstar? Was this the light-shaking realm? Which expert had the light-shaking realm swallowed? Someone exclaimed. Someone shook his head. No, he was not a light-shaking realm expert. He did not use the demonic heaven-devouring technique. Why do I feel that this person is stronger than Lin Wudi? Chapter 5491. The strength of the purple figure in front of them exceeded everyone's expectations. They were guessing who it was. At the front, Ziming narrowed his eyes. He was surprised that the formation wasn't completely destroyed. After all, what he had just executed was an ultimate move. The purple sky underworld earth technique was made up of 2 extremely terrifying powers. When combined into a palm, its power was unparalleled. This strike of his could destroy any array formation. In his opinion, more than half of the divine union would be destroyed. However, only half of the array formation had been destroyed. This was completely beyond his expectations. This array formation wasn't ordinary. Ziming's eyes glowed purple as he stared down. The divine union was indeed powerful. However, he soon snorted. So what? He was here today. Was the divine union destined to be destroyed? He slowly raised his hand and prepared to execute the purple sky underworld earth palm again. Vast power surged between heaven and earth. The people of the divine union were in despair. Many of their elites had followed him to the Dragon Emperor ancient land. Although those who remained here were also geniuses, they couldn't compete with someone like the Triple Crown champion. Shangguan Shaoxian gritted her teeth. If only senior brother Lin was here. Fatty Nailin added. Yes, as long as there was an emperor weapon here, the Triple Crown champion wouldn't dare to act wildly. Stop. At that moment, an angry shout was heard from afar. It was from the Nailin family of the saintly origin ancient city. The Dugu family and the Fire Dragon family had arrived. They were all from the Divine Union. Naturally, they had to come out when they saw the Divine Union being attacked. Fu Hongya and the rest's eyes lit up. Previously, they had received news from Qin Xiener in advance and had secretly mobilized their men. However, some of them were very far away. In addition, the Purple Palace sect had arrived very quickly, which was beyond their expectations. Therefore, the reinforcements hadn't arrived yet. At that moment, a few people from the ancient city had finally arrived. After they arrived, they gathered with the Divine Union and confronted the people from the Purple Palace sect. Did the Purple Palace sect have a death wish? How dare they make a move at this time? The Nailin family's leader snorted. The Dugu family's leader snorted. How despicable. Why didn't they come when Alliance leader Lin was here? If they had the ability, they should have fought Alliance leader Lin. The Fire Dragon family's leader snorted as well. How dare they attack the divine union? The three great families were very powerful. They were on the same side as the divine union. Oh, have reinforcements arrived? Zeeming narrowed his eyes and glanced at these people, then shook his head. I thought it was some kind of expert, but it turned out to be a bunch of trash. Even if you come, it's useless. You can't change anything. You're calling us trash? The fire dragon was enraged, and so were the experts of the Dugu family. Say it again. Who's the trash? Sword chi surged from their bodies, and each of them carried a huge iron sword on their backs. The people of the Nayland family were also brimming with killing intent. Since you're so powerful, don't blame us for being impolite. Let's attack together. The experts of the three great clans roared and soared into the sky. They all wanted to see what gave the Z Mansion the right to be arrogant. Previously, the Purple Palace realm had been completely suppressed by the Divine Union. The strongest genius of the Zifu sect, Yao Guang, had been defeated by Lin Xin. The Purple Mansion realm had also been injured by the Divine Union several times. Now that the other party dared to behave so atrociously, wasn't he courting death? When the people of the Purple Mansion saw this, they sneered. They really didn't know what was good for them. The Purple Mansion realm was no longer the same as before. Now, it was the Triple Crown King. Just wait and see. These people would regret it. They didn't take action, as the Triple Crown King hadn't given them any orders. Zeeming looked at the experts of the three great clans and shook his head slightly. Ants were ants. It didn't matter how many of them there were. He formed another seal with his palm. The Thunder Beast shook the 9 heavens. Purple lightning filled its body, and it carried the aura of the Earth Demon. Then, a Thunder Beast formed behind Zeeming. A sea of lightning filled the sky, and it charged forward. A deafening roar shook the heavens and the earth. Countless lightning chains descended from the 9 heavens. It swept through the three great clans. In an instant, the three great clans seemed to have been struck by lightning, and they vomited blood as they were sent flying. This scene was very shocking. One person had defeated the three great clans. Countless people were shocked. The people of the three great clans were also crazy. How could he be so powerful? This wasn't the strength of a human. Ants were ants. No matter how many ants there were, they couldn't compete with a giant dragon. Zeeming stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Is there anyone in the Divine Union who can fight? If not, I'll send you all on your way." Arrogance. Boundless arrogance. Everyone was stunned. The people of the three great clans were injured. Below, the people of the Divine Union rushed out to support them and asked, "How are you?" The leaders of the three great clans smiled bitterly. "We are not a match for him. This is too terrifying." Fu Hongye said, "Let's stop talking and go back. Don't fight with him, just defend yourself. We still have the array to activate." Fire Dragon Lady frowned. It was useless. No matter how strong he was, unless Lin Gongzi and the rest came back. Otherwise, they would be in danger. The people of the Divine Union were also in despair. They were helpless against such an expert. It wasn't that they were weak, but the enemy was too strong. Zeeming shook his head and sighed. This is really disappointing. I thought that the Divine Union would be full of experts. There were one or two who surprised me, but I didn't expect them to be a bunch of ants. Since that was the case, there was no need for them to exist. He walked forward, and endless killing intent appeared in his hands. "Humph, you are too arrogant." A cold snort was heard. Countless large cracks appeared between heaven and earth. Then, a prehistoric force came crashing down. Everyone trembled, and in the next moment, they all turned their heads. The people from the Tao had arrived. It was the patriarch of the Tao sect. That's right, the savage wilderness patriarch had come. Some of the elders of the Tao had also come. They had an extraordinary relationship with the Divine Union. Although they weren't from the Divine Union, the creator of the Divine Union, Lin Xian, had always been with them. Now that Lin Xian wasn't around and the Divine Union was in danger, they naturally had to come and help. After the savage wilderness patriarch arrived, he stared at the purple figure in front of him. The elders behind him were also shocked. Elder Bai had also come. He was extremely shocked. He knew that the strength of the divine union had already surpassed the remote antiquity families. However, they were now in such a miserable state. What exactly was going on? Who are you? Ziming looked in front of him and sneered. Are you here to stand up for the divine union? I am the savage wilderness patriarch of the Tao sect. Young man, leave quickly. I don't want to hurt you. The savage wilderness patriarch's voice was very loud and clear, spreading throughout heaven and earth. Ziming snorted when he heard this. The patriarch of the Tao sect? You are just an old thing. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Scram, or I will kill you. Chapter 5492. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. The savage ancestor was one of the Tao sect's patriarchs. His strength was terrifying, and his status was even more terrifying. Who dared to provoke him? But now, a young man dared to be so arrogant, not putting him in his eyes at all. Who was this person? They were extremely curious. The savage ancestor's expression darkened as he took a step forward. He blasted out like a savage ancient beast, crushing heaven and earth. This attack was extremely terrifying. It could shatter everything. The surrounding people exclaimed. Heavens, the savage ancestor was really angry. That was for sure. He had used a peerless mystique the moment he attacked. They didn't know how the purple-robed man was going to block it. Everyone's eyes widened. Ziming snorted coldly. He also roared in anger and unleashed the purple heaven and earth handprint, charging forward to attack. The collision between the two was extremely terrifying. However, after the attack, the savage ancestor was pushed back, cracks appearing on his palm. His pupils shrank. The others were also shocked. It couldn't be. The savage ancestor was actually injured. This purple-robed man's strength was too heaven-defying. Who was he? You're just Oso. Ziming retracted his palm and laughed coldly. The divine union's people despaired. Fu Hongya's expression was cold. She hurriedly sent a message to the Crimson Dragon and the others. If even the savage ancestor couldn't withstand it, then the extreme-grade weapon had returned. Otherwise, the divine union would be completely finished. The savage ancestor was also shocked. Previously, the other party's arrogance had angered him. He planned to teach the other party a lesson. After all, he was one of the patriarchs. The age gap between them was very large. Normally, he wouldn't attack the younger generation. However, he couldn't care less now. However, after exchanging blows, he realized that he was gravely mistaken. The person in front of him was stronger than him. He wasn't even a match for him. The Purple Palace's strength far surpassed the light-shaking realm. Who was it that had appeared recently? The savage ancestor's eyes flashed. In the next instant, her pupils shrank as she cried out in surprise. Could it be that you're the Triple Crown champion? When these words came out, the others were also in an uproar. What? Triple Crown champion? Heavens, was this an existence that surpassed the Double Crown champion? Yes, it was possible. The Purple Palace Master had once told Lin Wudi to wait. Lin Wudi was arrogant, but they still had a trump card. That was the Triple Crown. Previously, he was in a deep sleep, but in order to kill Lin Wudi, I think they must have awakened the Triple Crown King. The person in front of him must be the Triple Champion. Other than such a person, no one else had the strength to possess such power. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the purple figure in the sky. Their faces were filled with shock. A genius who stood above all other experts had appeared. Triple Crown winner. Ziming stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He sneered. You old thing, you still have some vision. That's right, I am the Triple Crown King. Now that you know who I am, you can all kneel on the ground and submit. I can give you a quick death. He was extremely arrogant, but no one dared to resist, because the other party was the Triple Crown King. The savage desolation ancestor coldly harumphed. Damn it, he actually dared to look down on him. He also took out a giant axe. It was the Savage Great Axe. Savage 36 strikes. The giant axe danced, and it was as if countless ancient mountains were pressing down mercilessly. Heaven and earth crumbled. This was an extremely powerful axe technique that could definitely sweep through the crowd. When Ziming saw this, he sneered. Axe? Humph. That trash Yao Guang was defeated by me in one move, even with the bloodline Grey Tax. You want to contend against me with just your axe? Too naive. When these words came out, everyone went crazy. Yao Guang was defeated in one move. That was the Double Crown King, in the second place of the Dragon Transformation battle, only behind Lin Wudi. But he was defeated in one move. Didn't that mean that Lin Wudi was no match for this guy? It's over. Who can suppress this guy? I don't think any sage is a match for him. Unless they attacked accurately, no one could suppress the Triple Crown King. Amidst the countless discussions, Ziming raised his hand again, and a purple spear appeared in his hand. Arcs of lightning and killing intent appeared on it. In the next moment, he waved his arm forcefully. The purple spear turned into an eternity between heaven and earth and attacked the savage Grey Tax. With a clang, the 9 heavens and 10 earths shattered. Everyone was sent flying by the force, vomiting blood. The mountains and rivers below shattered, and the array cracked. The savage patriarch's Grey Tax was sent flying. The savage patriarch's body was pierced, and he was nailed to the peak of a mountain after being pushed back dozens of mountains. This scene was extremely shocking. He had been defeated. The terrifying savage patriarch had been defeated in one move, and he had even been severely injured. Everyone despaired. They couldn't even withstand a single blow. Ziming snorted coldly. The people from the purple mansion behind him also widened their eyes. They had been defeated so easily. They had always thought that this would be a difficult battle, but the situation had completely exceeded their expectations. This was great. They were excited. If this continued, they could sweep through the divine union. In fact, no one in the world would be a match for them. They were too excited. Ziming slowly walked forward. It seemed like he didn't intend to let the savage patriarch go. Another purple lightning divine spear appeared in his hand, and he stabbed forward. Not good. The savage patriarch was in danger. The people from the divine union cried out in alarm. The patriarch had to run. The other clans and sects were also shocked. Was one of the patriarchs of the Tao going to fall? The savage patriarch roared at the sky, but the purple lightning divine spear was too terrifying. It had pierced through his body. The electric arc made him powerless, and he couldn't move at all. This lightning was too terrifying. He roared at the sky. Old friend, I'm counting on you. As soon as he said that, the void changed. A ray of light descended, enveloping the world. There, red-crowned cranes danced, and rainbows filled the air. It was a scene of immortals. Everyone was shocked to see this. It seemed like another expert had appeared. The savage patriarch hadn't come alone. The elders of the sky sect cried out in alarm. This was the fantasy world mortal realm. It was the fantasy world patriarch. That's right, it was another patriarch of the Tao. The fantasy world patriarch. He was an expert in illusions. His most powerful ability was that he had an illusionary world called the fantasy world mortal realm. In this world, he was the supreme king. After the fantasy world mortal realm descended, it enveloped the world. It also enveloped Ziming. He didn't attack the purple lightning divine spear because it was too powerful. Instead, he used his illusions to influence and control Ziming. Countless rainbow-colored chains danced in the air. Beside Ziming, an old voice rang out. Soul control. Ziming stopped in his tracks. The purple lightning divine spear in his hand also slowly disappeared. The destructive power between heaven and earth had disappeared. Everyone's eyes widened. Controlled? As expected of the fantasy world patriarch. This method was truly terrifying. Chapter 5493. That's great. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were overjoyed. They had finally suppressed the Triple Crown champion. However, Fantasy World Ancestor's expression was extremely solemn. In the next moment, his pupils constricted. Oh no, he quickly retreated. The Triple Crown champion, who was being controlled, snorted coldly. His eyes suddenly burst with a terrifying light. It pierced through the fantasy world. Fantasy World Ancestor was sent flying, spitting out a mouthful of blood. His old face turned incomparably pale, as if he had aged a few hundred years in an instant. He was injured. The other party had broken his ultimate technique so easily. Soul attack? Not bad, but it was just a small trick. It was suitable for assassination. You want to control me with just you? What a joke. Purple Underworld snorted coldly and looked forward. Then he said, "Just you two old things? Is there anyone else who wants to fight? If not, I'll send you on your way." He walked over step by step, the killing intent on his body constantly erupting. Everyone was in despair. Could it be that even the two ancestors couldn't defeat him? The two patriarchs roared furiously as they joined forces to fight against Qin Lai. The battle instantly broke out. However, after 30 moves, the two ancestors were sent flying again. Cracks appeared on their bodies. Sacred blood kept dripping, dyeing the sky red. He was too strong. They were no match for him at all. Everyone was in despair. At this moment, more experts from the Sacred Origin Tower arrived. Those divine generals roared. They also helped, but they were no match for him. Without a boundary emperor, no one could suppress the Triple Crown champion. The spectators shook their heads and sighed. The people from the Purple Mansion sneered. This was great. In the Divine Union, Hong Yi and the others had solemn expressions. Seniors, enter the array together. I've already informed Uncle Master and the others. They should be back soon. We just have to hold on. Fantasy World Ancestor, Savage Wilderness Ancestor, and the other divine generals nodded. They had no choice but to descend and use the protective mountain array to its limit. The broken cauldron healed once again. Humph. You want to delay and wait for reinforcements? It's useless. I'll kill you first. Purple Underworld attacked again. However, this time, it wasn't just the power of the Divine Union. There was also the power of the Tao and the divine generals of the Sacred Origin Tower. Therefore, it would take some time to break the array this time. On the other side, in the Dragon Emperor's tomb, the Crimson Dragon's expression changed when he received the news. The Divine Union was in danger. Murong Qingqing frowned. What was going on? The Crimson Dragon said that the Zifu Emperor had made his move, and the Triple Crown King had been revived. Triple Crown winner. Murong Qingqing's pupils shrank. This was not a good situation. These experts were all outside. What should they do? Let's go back immediately, Bai Susu said. Yin Ruyu said no. If we go back immediately, the people in front will definitely know. That would be troublesome. Many of those emperor clans have enmity with the Divine Union. If they join forces with the Triple Crown champion, we'll be in even more danger. Therefore, they had to restrain these people from the emperor clan and then send some people back. Although the Triple Crown champion was powerful, as long as he had an extreme-grade weapon, he would be able to protect himself. When the time came, he would have to wait for Lin Xin to emerge. Murong Qingqing nodded and said, I'll stay here. Ruyu, go back with Ruzalong. You have an extreme-grade weapon, and he has an array. The two of you will protect the Divine Union. Yin Ruyu nodded. All right, be careful. The Crimson Dragon also said, Do you know how to restrain them? Murong Qingqing's lips curled up. Of course, there was still the 10,000 Dragon Court. Previously, the 10,000 Dragon Court had mercilessly attacked these Emperor clans. Now, I'll take the lead and join forces with these Emperor clans to destroy the 10,000 Dragon Court first. As long as a war broke out, it would not end in a short time. These Emperor clans would not be able to deal with the Divine Union. All right, they would split up this time. Murong Qingqing, Bai Susu, and the others prepared to join forces with the Emperor clans to attack the 10,000 Dragon Court. As for Yin Ruyu and the Crimson Dragon, the two of them left quietly. These two were experts. Yin Ruyu even had an Emperor weapon. If she left under normal circumstances, she would definitely attract the attention of others. However, Murong Qingqing struck first to gain the initiative. When these people left the Dragon Emperor's tomb, Murong Qingqing said, Everyone, I think it's time to settle some grudges. Hearing this, the pupils of the Golden Crow tribe and the Purple Mansion sect shrank. Did he want to start a war? They thought that Murong Qingqing wanted to attack them. However, Murong Qingqing shook his head. No. Do you still remember what happened at the Imperial Spirit Garden? Back then, Huanlong controlled all of us. How did the 10,000 Dragon Court deal with us? They relied on Huanlong's power to steal our storage rings and kill our fellow sect members. Don't you think this grudge should be avenged? The Qilin tribe gritted their teeth when they heard this. The Golden Crow clan, the Twins of Destiny clan, and the others all frowned. However, this was the case. The 10,000 Dragon Court had really wanted to kill all of them at the Imperial Spirit Garden. If they did not have extreme-grade weapons to protect themselves, they would have died long ago. That's right. It was time for revenge. The Fire Qilin also stared at the 10,000 Dragon Court. The Purple Mansion sect's lips curled up. It seemed like they had to let the 10,000 Dragon Court know the consequences of offending them. The others nodded. They were doing this to take revenge. However, they also had another thought. They had entered the Dragon Emperor's tomb and obtained many treasures. Although this number could not be compared to what Lin Xian had obtained. But after all, they had stolen the Dragon Emperor's things. The 10,000 Dragon Court could not do anything now, but when they recovered in the future, would they take revenge on them one by one? When the time came, would they be able to block them? So now, why not work together to destroy the 10,000 Dragon Court? Then, they would have nothing to worry about. Damn it, how dare you? The 10,000 Dragon Court people hollered in rage and stared at Murong Qingcheng. Murong Qingcheng scoffed coldly. What did he not dare to do? He instantly charged out. The desolate tower suppressed the area. The 10,000 Dragon Court's Long Mu roared and Long Tu attacked. Damn it, I will fight it out with you all. After the two of them attacked, the other Emperor race people also attacked. The clan of the Ancients also provided strength. They were determined to suppress the 10,000 Dragon Court. After all, they had stolen the tomb of the Emperor, so they were definitely going to take revenge. Therefore, these people did not show any mercy when they attacked. Just like that, an earth-shattering battle broke out. The 10,000 Dragon Court was forced to retreat. However, although they were suppressed, they were in the Dragon Emperor's territory. Moreover, Long Mu was also one step away from the sage stage. He was very strong. It was impossible for the other party to kill him in an instant. However, based on this lineup, it was only a matter of time before they lost. At the same time, in the depths of the Dragon Palace tomb, Lin Xian frowned. He had also received news that the Divine Union was in danger. The Triple Crown King of the Z Mansion sect had also awakened. Was the other party coming for him? A cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.